Good afternoon and a pleasant Thursday afternoon, October 8th, 2020 to one and all. Wherever you're listening, however you're listening, whether it's on old reliable AM 560 or 96.1 or now on 98.5 FM, we welcome you into Sportstime for this Thursday afternoon that starts a very busy sports weekend. Tonight is a very busy sports night in the AAC. A big game tonight. Houston hosting Tulane. Houston in their season opener on October 8th. That doesn't scream 2020. What does? Also in the NFL tonight, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. That's kind of 2022. Tom Brady on the Buccaneers and not on the New England Patriots. They go into Soldier Field that won't have any fans there because they can't against a good Chicago Bears record. Both teams 3-1 for Thursday night football. And the baseball playoffs that continue on with the Oakland A's quickly up 3-0 in the top of the second on the Astros. The Braves pounding the Marlins 7-0 top of the fifth. Braves get a little bit of hitting to go with that pitching, and they did today. They will be a tough out tonight. The Tampa Bay Rays can eliminate the Yankees. That game starts at 6:10. And then at 8:08, mark your clocks. Let's make sure it goes off on time, too. Dodgers against San Diego. And the Dodgers and San Diego with a lot of yapping last night. San Diego's a good young team. They know it. They come off very brazenly. They backed it up mostly in this short season. But the Dodgers last night got the last word in and then got a little talking in when that game ended. Dave is away today and tomorrow. He'll be back with us on Monday. Drew Barrett co-hosting and producing this 3-hour expedition that we're about to go on. We want you to stay with us until 6 o'clock tonight. We've got a lot in store for you, including Bill Bender from the Sporting News. He will talk college football with us. Keith Smith from Yahoo Sports in Orlando, just outside the NBA bubble. He will be with us to talk the NBA. Russell Copeland will talk NFL with us. Greg Gaston will talk Tigers. And Drew and I will talk baseball and the NBA playoffs and the college football playoff debate that they're on a collision course to have. It's going to be the wildest, craziest year ever with the CFP. Maybe ever in deciding bowl teams and teams in the college football playoff and beyond. Because some are playing 6 and some are playing 7, some will play 8, 9, 10, 11. And it will, I said the other day, it will be at least one team in the college football playoff this year with 2 losses. This is a prime year. Tigers can't do it now. They can't go undefeated and be conference champion. They can still be conference champion. And I think that will hold them up pretty well to be in a college football selected bowl mix. Maybe not in the Final Four, not in the ultimate, but just like last year in a really good bowl game. Again, if they win out, that starts next week. We'll talk about that and the rest of the season with Greg Gaston. We talk Tigers at 5 o'clock. Drew Barrett, have you been watching the baseball today and watch what the Braves are doing to Miami? They are dispatching them easily today. It will be the Braves against the winner of the Dodgers and the Padres in the NLCS. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Brett. It does definitely seem that way. I haven't been able to watch many pitches today, just a couple of glances, but have been keeping up with the score. And you knew that the Braves bats could get it done going into the postseason. It was all about the pitching, and the pitching has been phenomenal thus far through the wild card series and now the NLDS. And who knows, depending on who comes out of the Dodgers-Padres, I think the Braves actually realistically have a shot. I think before this series, before we've seen everything come together for Atlanta the last few games, I personally thought that whoever won the Dodgers-Padres could pretty much pencil their name in to the World Series out of the NL, but Braves are looking good.
They are. It looks like if it's Dodgers and Braves, I think if we'd have played 162, I don't know what injuries could have possibly had done to either team. I mean, if you had a couple of pitchers go out and a couple everyday players go out and you hit that old 14 out of 19, losing schneid, things could have been different. But I think over the long march of 162, I think the Braves and the Dodgers would have been the best teams in the National League. And in the American League, give me 3 or 4 teams there. Give me Tampa and the Yankees, and they're still alive. I'll throw Oakland in that. and maybe Cleveland, maybe.
Yeah, probably Cleveland. I mean, going into the year, they were
White
definitely.
Sox.
I don't know. I think that the White Sox are still about 1 or 2 years away. I think they kind of got an advantage off the short season. Maybe actually taking the Astros. I know they're out of the 4 teams remaining in the division series. They're the only team to finish the 60-game season with the losing record. But the talent that they've got there, I mean, all aspects of the game that they play very, very well, they probably would have been in this position. I guess I would have probably taken them to be one of the 4.
Yeah, but in this short sprint of a season, this is where we are. This is the teams left alive, and that's what we'll go with, and including the Astros. And we'll see if there's any blowback against them, because they do engender a lot of antipathy and a lot of hate that goes with it. I still think a lot of teams are doing it. They got caught, and they have paid a serious price. You mentioned the White Sox maybe 1 or 2 years away. It's fun to be a part of following a young team that you think's building potentially to that go far year. I think we are watching that here in Memphis with the Grizzlies. But then if you don't cash in on it, and then you have to start back over again, it was like several times the Pirates have had all that young pitching. What have they ever done with it? Nothing. There are a couple of teams that feel like they're a player or 2 away, and they don't get there, and they start all over again. In right now in the NBA with the Grizzlies, I think plenty of people will be more than patient through next year. But in that next year, that 4th year would be a big year for Jaren Jackson. And if the Grizzlies aren't kind of capitalizing on it, then how long can you kind of sell sizzle? How long can you kind of sell hope? Because eventually, just like that person in a job or in athletics, the person loaded with that potential, but you don't ever really see it manifest. Then you get aggravated and upset at them.
Yeah, and I think for the Grizzlies, the important question is really what is capitalizing. I mean, how deep the West is and how much great talent there is. And, it's very hard to see where the Grizzlies match up right now in the top 8 and in that playoff picture for the West next year. I mean, is capitalizing an NBA title? Is it reaching your first NBA Finals? Is it getting back to the Western Conference Finals? What is actually capitalizing, and what is ultimately the ultimate goal is to win the NBA Finals and get the franchise first title in the NBA, but is that realistic? Is that a realistic of capitalizing on this young talent just due to how much talent you have to go through?
I think until the Grizzlies, just my opinion, but I think until the Grizzlies go to another Western Conference Finals, I don't know if you can ever put that go for it all on them.
I don't think you can either. I think right now the capitalizing would be going, like you said, going to the Western Conference Finals and actually winning a game. You get your first win, I think, and set that new high mark.
And then you move the goal up.
Exactly. You have to pass the previous high, and then you set the new goal. So I think capitalizing with this young core of talent with Trey J and Jarrett and Ja, then you win a Western Conference. And Brandon Clark. And a few others. You get to the Western Conference Finals, win a game or 2, make it competitive, maybe take it to a Game 7, and that's all you can really ask for.
I think most people came out of this long saga of a 19-20 season mostly pleased with how it ended. Maybe wanted a little more, maybe would have had a little more if it had played out. I still think a March, early April reckoning was coming for the Grizzlies, and instead it came down in the bubble with how the crazy year played out. But most very pleased. Next year, we still don't know when it will start, how it will start, and if fans will be allowed to see it start with the beginning of next year. Dave made a great point yesterday. It will not start. It will be no 2020-2021 season. It'll just be the 21 season.
It will be, and I'm not 100% sure. Has that ever happened? Have we ever played an NBA season in one calendar year?
I don't think even the 50 gamer in 98, 99, I think it encompassed some parts of 98. Yeah. I don't know in the NBA. And it sure wouldn't be the case in baseball because everything's done in one calendar year. And, football bleeds over into the playoffs, but even with strikes and labor problems that they've had, lockouts, it always encompassed, the start of one calendar year and into the other.
Yeah, it does. And with the NBA going forward, I don't know if I like that new type of normal because then we're constantly having these conversations about the fake ratings and the fake rating outrage of if we start in January, February, well, that means we're going to eventually be pushing up against college football and the NFL just like we are today. So if they don't end up getting back to normal, then it's going to hurt them.
Yeah, I think the NBA crew is going to learn a very hard lesson when they do try to maybe do everything in 1 year. The number one and number two sports in the United States right now, it's clearly the NFL first and then college football second. There just needs to be a recognition of that. Baseball and the NBA can hash it out, and whoever wants to get involved in the rest of that argument, they can as well. But ratings, TV packages, well, the TV package is a little different because the NBA, they have a great one. I don't know that they can have that same kind the next time, but NFL and college football, they are the ratings dynamos right now, and you're seeing it already this year with college football. I heard John talking about it at the end of his time just before we came on, and I think John nailed it on his explanation of just the crunch of everything, the Niagara Falls of everything, including a lot of news. Look, when you got a big presidential election year, a global pandemic that's been covered, every jot and tittle of it for every day since March, it takes eyeballs away from other things. I know what a lot of people want to say it is. I'm not saying that that's not a factor. I just don't think it's the overriding factor. Speaking of the virus and sports, the Titans have a problem, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They definitely really got caught up in all this mess, and I'm really looking forward to asking Russell on his opinion of it and what he thinks the NFL should really do. Because, I mean, if you're the Bills right now, you've got to be upset. You've got to be a little ticked off because of how much it's going to mess up your schedule.
Yeah, and the Bills undefeated. I don't know that it's a go-for-it year for the Bills, but a lot of improvement being made. They're one of those teams obviously building for that go-for-it stretch. And for the Titans, for them to pay that price, to have that forfeit put on them, I think that would send shockwaves and might need to be the message sent to the rest of the NFL. I think people learn from a heavy punishment to someone else. The really smart kid is the one that someone tells them that fire is really hot, don't touch it. The smart one's the one that hears that. The dumb one's the one that touches it, has to get burned by it, and then that scares the rest of them.
Yeah, it really does. But if you're the Titans and you're thinking, well, why are we getting punished so badly for doing the exact same thing that I don't know, Tom Brady continued to do all summer and break NFL protocol, and he didn't get in any trouble for it. So why are we getting punished? And I get it's different circumstances, but that's what the Titans can come back at him with.
Also from college football and the virus, Kansas Jayhawks head coach Les Miles has tested positive for COVID-19. We'll see how that develops with them. I don't think it will hurt their one-loss record very much, regardless of who's coaching the Kansas Jayhawks. Les Miles, boy, you got to know he knows somebody in Louisiana with a homemade brew, a homemade cure for almost anything.
Oh, you know he does, because they all down there have some type of home remedy for anything.
For anything.
You're exactly right. I think that this is the first coach that's gotten COVID where you're like, does it really affect the game that much? I mean, I'm pretty sure I could go out and lose to anybody in the Big 12 coaching Kansas just like he is right now. So not to make light of his health, and I hope that he recovers very soon and well and gets back out on the field. But as far as this weekend goes, it's not like they really were going to win in the first place.
I think, do they have open date this weekend? Or are they set to play this weekend? Because I saw where they think he's going to be good to go. The next time out, they may be playing this weekend. Jeff Long, the AD at Kansas, trouble finds him as well. When we say Louisiana, we keep our eye on the radar for them. I'm thinking about how it's going to affect me on Saturday with the Ole Miss game. I sent a picture of you with quite literally, as I said last night, of the Hurricane track set to go over the stadium at game time. Well, game time has now been moved from 5 and kickoff until 6:30, and the track is moved a little to the southeast of that, about a quarter of a mile. Now it's going over right field of the baseball stadium.
Yeah, if it's not going directly over, it's going over very, very close. And I don't know. You said it got moved by an hour and a half. It's now 6:30 instead of 5. Is that really going to make that big of a difference?
I don't think so. I don't know how it really could, but I guess we're going to see. I would have kept it at 5. I don't make the decisions, though. I would have kept it at 5 if for no other reason. If you have to have a bunch of stoppages because of the lightning rule in there, and now you're kicked back that if you had, let's say, you play the first quarter and then you have to have a stoppage for an hour. I mean, you'll be pushing really, really late. I was surprised that Alabama would go for that. I don't know that they would have veto power, but they have a pretty large voice in the league office in Birmingham, and a really large voice with the platform that Nick Saban can and does command. I mean, that's changing their schedule for next week. They're going to beat Ole Miss whatever time they kick off.
Yeah, they pretty much are, but you're exactly right. You'd think that the mindset due to, I believe it's 60, is it 60 or 90-minute delay every time a lightning strikes?
I'm not sure, but I got in a long one a few years ago, but I'm not sure exactly.
It's at least
with the proximity.
Well, it's at least an hour. I'm pretty sure it's at least an hour for lightning. And every time a lightning strikes, the clock restarts. So it could obviously ultimately be longer than just a simple 60 minutes. So you think that if anything, they'd try to maybe move it up, instead of kicking off at 5, depending on forecasts and on the actual weather and when the hurricane's set to come through, move it to a 2:30 slot. Maybe even try to kick off at 11. That way you just give yourself plenty of time to get a full game in.
But this is a year not just for Ole Miss, but for a lot of people that playing Alabama, regardless of where, when, what time, however you're going to play them. You're not going to have what you ultimately play for, and that's a win. But you can have wins inside that game. You will not have a win. It will go down. It will go down as a loss for a lot of people. Whenever, however, what time they play Alabama, but you still can have progress, and you saw that with Ole Miss on opening day. And look, it didn't get like this overnight, and Coach Lane Kiffin can't get it repaired overnight either. But I think he's very, very much looking forward to that game. But Saturday, it will be 4:30 pregame right here on this station, and with a 6:30 kickoff. Hey, Tennessee sports betting, it's almost here, and FanDuel Sportsbook is giving you an exclusive offer to get started. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook giving users $50 in free bets just for signing up. You heard that right. They're giving you $50 in free site credit to register and verify early, no deposit required. FanDuel, America's #1 sports betting site, for a reason. They've got odds on all the biggest sports and a simple, intuitive app that makes it easy to find the bet you're looking for, then lock it in. And unlike other sports books, once you win, FanDuel gets you your cash in as little as 24 hours. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. But right now, the right thing for you to do is download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and check out their fantastic app for yourself. Just be sure to sign up and register using promo code CASH so they know we sent you. Then you verify your account. You'll receive $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook goes live. That's promo code CASH to get $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. Must be 21 or older and present in the state of Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, you can call 1-800-889-9789. Dave is away today and tomorrow. He'll be back with us on Monday. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity October sales event. Call them at 901-362-8833. Great offers on all 2020 models. 2021's rolling in. You can drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500 and be first on the list for the 2021s, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com, 901-362-8833. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
My top story of the day, the Atlanta Braves, a.k.a. the second most popular team in the Mid-South, are looking to advance to the NLCS with a win today as they're currently winning 7-0 in the sixth inning and get the sweep over the Miami Marlins. If the Braves win today to advance, they will advance to their first NLCS appearance since 2001 when they lost the series 4-1 to the Diamondbacks. And as we discussed many times on this show over the past week, this will be the first playoff series loss for the Miami Marlins in franchise history.
Any surprise there that they're doing this so easily now, 7-0, and base runners still everywhere with 2 outs in the top of the sixth? The Braves are making it look easy.
They really are, and I'm not surprised that this is how it was going to go down. I'm might be a little shocked by the sweep just because, like I said, I didn't know how consistent Atlanta's pitching was going to be over the course of 3 games, but get out your brooms. Here's the sweep.
Great mix of players. They got the power. They've got maybe the most speed in the game, and that pitching staff, and they're getting a really good performance today. And, it's not Glavine, Smoltz, Maddox, Avery type early 90s, mid-90s, into the 90s, but it's really good. My top story tomorrow night could be the last NBA game of the season, that seemingly the season that wouldn't end. And if it's the last game of 2020, a 2019-2020 season that started for the Memphis Grizzlies last October 23rd on a Wednesday, a road trip against the Miami Heat, that will be one long year for everybody in the NBA. But when will be the next time we see the Memphis Grizzlies, and when will the next time we can go to FedEx Forum and see the Grizzlies? I don't think any schedule starts before about mid-January. I just don't have the feeling that it'll start with fans, and for sure not with come one, come all. It will have to be restrictions. How long can that last? How long will large public gatherings indoors really not be at 100%? And can the league and can the Grizzlies locally itself be able to maintain, be able to sustain, be able to stay viable with people not being able to go to a game? You can Zoom a lot of things, but you have to have that passion, and that passion gets fed by being able to go.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story of the day, Lamar Jackson was held out of practice again today for precautionary reasons with a knee injury. It's the first time in Lamar's young career that he has missed back-to-back practices since taking over in 2018 for Joe Flacco. Jackson has been hit a total of 340 times, which, if you're wondering, is a lot. It's actually 112 more than any other quarterback in that time span, and it's definitely not shocking when you have a dual-threat QB that runs as much as Lamar does. It's, like I said, not as shocking to think that he's going to have some bumps and bruises, but hopefully it's nothing serious, because while I like RG3, he seems like a good person, I don't know if I want him starting QB.
Yeah, and he's pretty fragile, and he's taken a lot of hits, and those knees are really, really shaky that he played on. And I thought it was awful what Washington sent him out there to do when he was obviously hurt in that playoff game once upon a time against the Seahawks. My not top story, I mentioned kind of the fragility of sports, the tentativeness of every schedule around sports. Will we play? What time will we start? Is it moving? Is it virus affected? Is it hurricane and weather affected? Is it activist and protest affected? All this uncertainty around sports is not great. I know right now we are in historic times on a lot of fronts, on all those fronts I just mentioned. And kind of the stew of sports is really unsettled right now. And it's not good, because people interested in something, they have to know if it's going off. You can't have passion. You can't have people rabid about sports wondering is it a coin toss if it happens?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. The only way that you create that passion is you create that buildup, and there's got to be that day
it's there,
so that you know it's coming. You look at the schedule, you have it in your hands, you have tickets, and you're so excited and so ready, and that's how the passion gets built up. If it's all up in the air, you're like, well, why am I going to get excited? Why am I going to get my hopes up? Is it really worth it? And stuff like that. So they've got to figure it out.
And you got to keep stoking it, and you got to keep feeding it. Can't be fits and starts. I know right now are extraordinary circumstances, but one thing that we've been in is the kind of the college football schedule. We don't really know when we're going to kick off till about 6 or 12 days before the game. That hadn't been a good thing. We got to get a schedule, and I know TV pays the bills, but once upon a time, and a time far, far away, the kickoff was there and TV adjusted. I know that we're not going back to that. I know we're not, because those rights fees pay the bills. But we have to have some certainty about it, and we have just not. I know we got certainty about this. Bill Bender from the Sporting News talking college football. He's next on Sports Time.
Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane. Weekday mornings from 7 till 10 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Hey, sports fans, you already know about the great steaks at the Butcher Shop Steakhouse, a Memphis tradition since 1981. They specialize in hand-cut aged beef right over that hickory charcoal. But did you know the Butcher Shop also has great seafood items, from fresh Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, pan-seared red snapper with sautéed shrimp and Cajun cream sauce, Canadian cold water lobster tails, crab-stuffed shrimp, homemade lump crab cakes, and a whole lot more. Oh, and don't forget the Fresh Burger Fridays for only $8.95. Come in, enjoy a fantastic dinner at the Butcher Shop. If you need a great private party, the Butcher Shop is your place. 6 different private rooms, seating from 12 to 250, all equipped with audio-visual. Rehearsals, business dinners, lunch, and weddings. You call the Butcher Shop at 901-757-4244. Or you can visit the website at butchershop.com. Just drop in, 107 South Germantown Parkway.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. The East Memphis Ace Hardware, located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up? We're here to help. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $32.99. Plus a $10 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? Don't worry. You can sign up fast right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's opponents on Man vs. Train. At the crossing, we have Rick, a 175-pound frustrated man who's running late for work. And on the tracks, we have Bull, a million-pound freight train that takes a mile to stop. Let's see who comes out on top.
You can't beat a train, so don't try. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stat. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochen and Brett Norsworthy.
Dave out today and tomorrow. He'll be back with us on Monday. Tigers open date this Saturday before the big one next Saturday against UCF at the Liberty Bowl Stadium. We talk college football at this time every Thursday now, joining Joining us, Bill Bender from the Sporting News. You can follow Bill on Twitter at BillBender92. Great college football writer, great college football follower, and a wonderful guy. And Bill, I'm so glad you're consistent, because before we went to the break, I was talking about the kind of the disruption now in sports and starting times, and I threw it to break saying we have to have more certainty around sports, and this is certain. We will have Bill Bender next. What if you'd have been out today, or we couldn't have caught up with you? I'd have felt terrible. I set you up like that. Good afternoon, Bill. Maybe we don't have Bill.
Hello. Hey, sorry. Hey.
There you go.
Yeah, you guys
see right there. You were messing with me on the certainty right there.
No, we got one foot out the door here a little bit. We're flying to Vegas in the morning for my sister's wedding, so been searching the parlays for some guaranteed winners here, and it's going to be a fun weekend at the Bender house.
Well, share a few of them with us. You got any circled?
A couple I look at. The Florida Texas A&M game's interesting because Florida, I think most people feel like they should be favored by more, and that tells me it could get a little tricky. Tennessee, obviously, double-digit dog against Georgia. Kind of like the Vols to cover. I don't know if I like them to win. And then, of course, here's my call that you can play this back next week and tell me I'm wrong, but I think Clemson's going to flex on Miami. I think they've kind of coached so far that I think they've looked bored. And this is kind of their game to kind of reassert that they're the power in the ACC.
Last Saturday at the end of our Ole Miss pregame, Richard Cross asked me a national game I was keeping an eye on, and I said, I think it's always Clemson. Whatever they're doing, I think we have to be interested in because they have arrived in that elite level. Don't know that they've passed Alabama, but they've joined Alabama. Do you agree or disagree with that assessment that they've at least joined Alabama?
Yeah, I mean, they're 1A, 1B. Over the last 4 to 5 years in terms of the elitist programs in the country. I mean, Ohio State's kind of one. I don't think. Point being, yeah, I mean, when Clemson wins by the score they win last week, and when I said they look bored, they get graded for beauty points when they win by 20. It's not enough. And Alabama kind of the same thing. They win 52-24. Everybody acts like something's wrong with their defense. Well, something's right with Mac Jones and that offense and those three receivers.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Alabama, I think, is clicking on all cylinders, and Mac Jones is exactly what we thought he was going to be, a guy that stays in the pocket and has a great arm. But to other teams that kind of wish they were more of like an Alabama Clemson, I think that kind of have already played themselves out. The Red River Shootout this weekend, does the winner of that game still have a shot to make the CFP?
That'd be Texas. I mean, they have to if they want to have a chance. And then Oklahoma's going to be tough because you get the 2 losses. And, just knowing that no college football team has made the college football playoff with 2 losses makes your task that much more difficult. And, Texas had their chance last week, but they fumbled it away at the goal line against TCU. TCU's a decent team. I think Big 12's issue is there isn't a great team in that conference. There's some good teams. I think Iowa State's a pretty good team. But I don't think there's anybody great. And when I say a team's great, to me that's defined as can go to the playoff one, and then they can win one when they're there.
Bill, we talk about the teams that have arrived and the kind of the high standards for the beauty pageant they're up against every week. Has Georgia entered into that league, or are they playing against a lofty standard? Because it's been 40 years since Herschel Walker and Buck Blue won a national championship at Georgia.
They can compete for it every year. It's just a matter of breaking through and doing it. And I think you guys feel free to disagree, of the teams that have played this week, that we've actually seen on a football field, and they've completed an entire game. To me, the 4 best teams right now are Alabama and Clemson, Georgia and Florida. And with Georgia and Florida, it's a case of can you take that next step and win a college football playoff? And Dan Mullen's shown some good things. Their defense is a question. Clemson's shown some good things. I said they were bored. Alabama, questions about the defense. Georgia, the questions are on the other side with their quarterback. And can Stetson Bennett do that every week? They're the only one of those 4 teams I mentioned where defense absolutely isn't a question. They can play on that side of the ball.
Staying kind of with the SEC, for the second straight week, Greg Sankey has sent out the threat of fines. Do you think that he's serious about it and he's actually going to go through with it if the teams continue to violate the mask rules?
Well, I mean, we got to do it safely, or we're not going to be able to do it. That's been proven. So I think he does have to take a harder line on that. It's hard. I mean, I coach youth sports, and it's hard to keep it on. And when you're distant, you pull it down, and when you get close, you pull it up. It's because it's hard to breathe. I mean, and I'm just being very basic about it. So, yeah, I understand. So I understand where the coaches are coming from on some level. But, you know, if you have to take a hard line on that, I mean, get a shield, get at whatever's comfortable, because you're out there 4 hours doing it.
Bill, I don't think anybody would disagree with your assessment on the 4 teams that have played, that have logged playing time, that have finished games so far in this wild 2020 season. Could you make an argument that BYU would be the 5th team?
I mean, yeah, they're playing ball. They're playing well. They've got good quarterback, good offense, good receivers. And, I mean, it's hard to say that they don't belong in that conversation. And they've just got to keep winning. They got to keep doing it impressively. They've got a really good quarterback in Zach Wilson. They play disciplined on offense. They execute well, and their defense is pretty good. Now,
they're
who have
physical.
they played? Yeah, but who have they played? That's the question.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I was kind of joking though, Brett, that hey, if BYU Big 12 probably take BYU right about now because it would prop up the top.
Yeah, it would. It would improve their standing right now. They've defeated Navy, Troy, and Louisiana Tech. That's anything but murderers row. They have Texas San Antonio this week, and then next Friday night at Houston. And the Cougars, they have their opening night tonight against Tulane.
Yeah, and they've tried to play about 6 different openers, so that's good to see that they're actually getting on the field, and we'll see how they do with that. You know, but that's part of the season. And it's starting to trickle into the NFL where, you know, COVID's going to it's an impact every week of the season. Somebody's going to be impacted, and you hope it's minimal. You hope it's minimal in the NFL. And they're dealing with that with the Titans right now, and that's tough. But it's just part of the game.
Going off of that, like what you said, that COVID-19, it's going to basically affect every league, every team, and you're obviously up there in MACtion territory, alumni of a MAC school. With their schedule, at least, why are there no bye weeks? I mean, do they realistically think that they're going to get every game in, or are they just going to say, if we can't play it, we can't play it?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You know, you got this deal where because they pin themselves that late in the season, if it happens, it happens. And that's going to make these medical safeguards so smart, you know, so huge, because if you don't do it safely, if you have a COVID outbreak, your team's probably going to miss a quarter of the season at this point. And it's tough, but that's the corner they painted themselves in. And on one end, I think the Big Ten went over the top with the medical standards because they don't want to say that we're not protecting our student athletes. And you can't blame them for that either.
No, you cannot, but you are right. COVID's going to COVID. Yesterday, Barrett Jones with us made one of the great points of the week, and it was a contrast that I had not thought about. What a year so far for Mississippi State. 2 games in, Pirate swinging his sword. They beat the number 1 team from college football last year, and then they lose to a team that had lost 20 straight SEC games. What a daylight and dark difference in games.
It really was. And it's just a very interesting juxtaposition. That's part of the Mike Leach experience where, you know, that's going to happen, where you have guys, you have teams where he can beat, and then the next week it's cold. And that's been his MO for 20 years. And that's the big question, if they can really do this in the SEC every week, because obviously Arkansas is not a top 10 team. They've got a lot of top 10 meat left on their schedule, and it's not going to be easy to do that on a week-in, week-out basis. And I think that was my question after they did it. There's no question it's increasingly hard to prepare for that air raid. But, you know, for the teams that do, and you got to credit Sam Pittman. Arkansas has been in the dumpster for a long time. And for them to get that win, it was clutch.
Bill, I think the Arkansas 1-1 and the style that they've done it in has really been impressive. I'm going to say the Ole Miss 1-1 pretty impressive too, but it's been quite different. It's been offense. The Arkansas 1-1 it's been defense. Sam Pittman and Barry Odom, two defensive masterpieces in defending Georgia that made them change quarterbacks. That might be the difference in their year, and then upset the hot shot quarterback from week one in KJ Costello, when frankly Chad Morris really never had a pulse with the ball team.
No, to lose that many games in a row, obviously it's tough, and for them to get that done, it's a step in the right direction. I mean, you can win at Arkansas. Bob Petrino did. A couple other coaches have in the past. It's hard to win as maybe Frank Broyles did, but I think that's a good place. They have money. It's a good setting. It's just about, can they keep up with the recruiting with the rest of the powerhouses in the SEC? That'll be the big question.
Last thing for Bill Bender from the Sporting News. Bill, do you think we will have a week-to-week referendum, week-to-week running debate on Mike Leach and will this offense work in the SEC?
I mean, yeah. Yes and no, because I think we'll have a feel for it. I mean, it's going to work in spots. There are weeks where it's not going to work. But, Costello's going to put up numbers. It's not like Mike Leach is going to change his offense this week and run the ball 50 times. They're going to throw it around. And if you're not ready for it, if you're not prepared, it's kind of like playing a basketball team, and I made the comparison to 40 Minutes of Hell and Nolan Richardson because that worked for a while, then it didn't. But they weren't going to change that style. And I don't see any way that Mike Leach changes that style.
Yeah, he's not changing his style. He's not running the wishbone in there on you after next spring season. Bill, best to you and your family for the wedding this weekend. Enjoy. I don't know what the best part of family weddings and the trip that it really is. The planning and the preparation and then going through it, or when you get home and you get to look at the pictures and talk about how much fun it was.
Yeah, we can't wait. We're looking forward to it. And as always, I enjoy my weekly spots with you guys, and I'm sure we'll have some stories to tell next week. So enjoy the weekend. I'll talk to you guys next week.
Bill, thank you. And again, anybody that goes to Vegas, I always tell them, if you need my wheelbarrow to bring home all the winnings, just text me during the weekend, and I'm on the way out to help you, okay?
I will. I'll let you know. Thanks so much, Brett. Take care.
Thanks, Bill.
You got it. Bill Bender from the Sporting News joining us, and he's right, Drew. Mike Leach is not going to change his system no matter what, but I do think we talk about July radio. I can just see Richard and Michael Borky and crew and Brian in the afternoon when they need to, or Matt White statewide in the morning when he needs to, or anybody next summer on a slow day, just throw out phone lines wide open. Will Mike Leach's system work?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a talking point because you don't know how it's really going to look in the tough, hard-nosed defensive settings that the SEC presents week in and week out. And, is it just like you kind of now with LSU win, is that kind of now perceived as they got lucky because Stingley and other people were out? Does it deteriorate
bottom up in the SEC, is it still that tough and consistent, hard-nosed defenses?
I'd like to think so, right? Or maybe it really is just that top heavy now that I think about it. I mean,
it used to be the separator.
We did just have, Ole Miss beat Kentucky in overtime. Both teams scored 40-plus.
42-41, and both of them left points out there. I mean, it was anything but a defensive game.
But then again, on the flip side,
I think that speaks for itself at 42-41.
On the flip side, and now low-scoring game, Georgia beat Auburn 27-6, and that was a blowout. But it was also technically, according to today's football standards, that's a low-scoring football game.
Well, it sure is, but it was a handling. I mean, you knew early into that game, into the first quarter, for sure at halftime, Georgia was just really working Auburn. They were clearly the more talented team and the better team, but I just don't know that the SEC bottom up. The top defenses, yes. And I say that after seeing Florida, and I told y'all, on these airwaves, I said, and on Ole Miss postgame, Florida's good. I just didn't think that defense was nasty at all. It was beautiful.
They looked good coming off the
players. Oh, I mean, pregame, just unbelievable. Runway models. But then in, pad popping time, it wasn't much to it.
And I don't know if that's more of a program type of thing that they just don't work on it, or it's an actual just personnel type of thing where, yeah, you can be 300-plus pounds, but if you're not willing to get down and nasty, then you're not going to be nasty about it. So
Bill mentioned Miami playing Clemson. That's 6:30 Saturday night. Clemson #1 in the Associated Press. #2, Alabama. Now at 6:30 at Ole Miss. #3 will be Georgia, the 2:30 CBS game in Athens against Tennessee. #4, Florida, 11 o'clock starting the day at Texas A&M. And #5 will be Notre Dame against Mike Norvell and Florida State Saturday night, 6:30 for all the weekend action for tonight's NFL games, all these baseball games, tomorrow night in NBA. Always keep in mind getting plenty of food to watch the games, or if you're getting ready to go to dinner here in a little bit, don't forget about Jason's Deli. Healthy. First franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. Jason's Deli, all about choice. Regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the Build Your Own, you will be delighted at Jason's Deli. All the great locations like Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova, and the soups, broccoli cheese, chicken noodle, the best fire-roasted tortilla, I think, in town. One of my favorites, the chili, the tomato basil, so very good. The chicken noodle, it's terrific. All the salads, Mesa chicken salad, chicken club salad, nutty mixed up salad. You can have it catered for you anytime, anywhere. And if you're in the locations at Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova, free ice cream with every visit. And the great salad bar, over 30 items just on the salad bar. They will prepare it now for you. In these health safety times that we're in, no longer you doing it yourself. They'll do it for you at Jason's Deli. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com and get ready for the weekend. They love to say wholesome food forever. It's a family thing at Jason's Deli. When we come back, we wrap up hour #1. Drew Barrett in with me. This is Sports Time.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through lunch daily from 10 to 1.
Well, lunch is served.
Only on Sports 56, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Kevin Harlan and Tony Baselli here from Westwood One with a Thursday night football preview. From Soldier Field in Chicago, Nick Foles and the Bears will take on Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tony, both come in with records of 3-1, but Brady and the Bucs seem to have more momentum thanks to a 3-game winning streak.
And Kevin, the story all year has been about Tom Brady and Father Time. When is it going to catch up to him? Well, he had a little message for Father Time, and that's 5 touchdown passes, and this Buccaneer offense is rolling. A great comeback win against the Chargers. And they face Chicago Bears and Nick Foles, who are struggling to score points. Nick Foles is going to have to get his act together to keep up with Tom Brady.
We invite you to join us for all the action when the Bucs meet the Bears on Thursday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up? We're here to help. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $32.99. Plus a $10 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? Don't worry. You can sign up fast right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Whether you want the new oven for that old family recipe or the more efficient washer to shorten laundry day, the Home Depot can help you find the appliances you need faster and easier. With top brands like Samsung, GE, LG, and Frigidaire, and free delivery. You can bring style and function home with fall savings on your next appliance at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Free delivery on purchases $396 or more, valid through October 21st, U.S. only.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage. Factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
It is time for the final clearance sale at James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. Listen to this, 70 to 80% off on all spring and summer merchandise. You heard me, James Davis, 70 to 80% off on all spring and summer merchandise. Unreal selection of sports coats and sports shirts for your next Zoom call. Limited selection of shorts and knits, but there are some. If you get there, you'll get 70 to 80% off. Here's some of the brands you can save on during this incredible sale. Peter Millar, Sandstrom, Mac 5 Pocket. I'm talking 70 to 80% off while it lasts. The only place in Memphis that you can find the Stant custom shirt and pants system. Only at James Davis, this exclusive store for this unique custom fitting apparel where shirts start as low as $98, pants at $168. Go see it to believe it. The clearance sale at James Davis.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party.
We go to Orlando at the top of the next hour, coming up in just a few minutes to visit with Keith Smith from Yahoo Sports on the NBA. He's been with us through the entire bubble process. It could end tomorrow night for the NBA. Keith will be back with us next week regardless to talk NBA and probably put an end to it one way or the other next week, even if it goes with the Heat winning a few more games. I think it's a matter of when, not if, for the Los Angeles Lakers to win it. 2021 NBA championship odds out for the 2021 season, as we will call it. Lakers, no surprise, 4-1. Clippers, 5-1. Golden State, 9-1. Milwaukee Bucks, 9-1. Two teams at 12-1, Boston and Brooklyn. Then Miami at 14-1. Toronto, 16-1. You got to go a long way down to find the Memphis Grizzlies at 75-1. 75-1, just ahead of Atlanta at 100-1, just behind Oklahoma City Thunder at 66-1. There are 11 Western Conference teams ahead of the Grizzlies. That's who you play. And it's sure not coming in 12 if this was right in the West.
No, it's not. It's definitely not coming in 12th. And I don't think the Grizzlies are going to come in 12th. I think they'll probably be about where they were last year as far as wins and losses. Now, obviously, when the season all came to an end, they had the 8th spot, but that's also without a healthy Golden State. So I think that
healthy Portland.
I think they're around 9-10. I think that they are just right on the outskirts looking in right now. But, you know, things could always turn their way in favor of, let's say, unfortunately, some other teams do have injury problems. Let's say the Grizzlies get hot at the right time, late down the stretch, and don't fall apart and have a terrible month. They stay pretty average through January and February and have a good March. I mean, who knows if you can't squeak in.
Grizzlies at 75-1. Here's some Western Conference teams behind the Grizzlies. Minnesota, Sacramento, and San Antonio, all 250-1, but very much behind the Grizzlies. Just in front of the Grizzlies, teams I would say are in the Grizzlies peer group, in their kind of young and hungry and trying to build something. New Orleans, 40-1. Phoenix, 40-1.
See, I don't know if I would have Phoenix ahead of us at this point. Because
I do, and I think I'm alone.
I think you are alone, and I want to know, why are you the only Phoenix Suns believer?
Ayton and how they played in the bubble. They were really good in the bubble.
But that was
their
only
best
8
basketball
games.
of the year. That's true. It was short sample, but a little, maybe a glimpse of what they might be next year. I just don't think there's vast separation for sure between the Grizzlies over Phoenix, if there's any separation whatsoever. And every time that comes up, I am alone in that. I don't want that. It's just what I think. We'll talk more NBA to start the second hour. Keith Smith from Yahoo Sports, he will join us. We'll also have Russell Copeland in the 4 o'clock hour to talk NFL and some Tigers. He was on the mic with Dave last Saturday as the analyst for the Tigers game at SMU. That starts hour 2 with Keith Smith next.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
You know when you gotta be somewhere, it's like really urgent. You don't want to do it over the phone. Some things just can't be said with an LOL or an OMG. Some things just need to be done IRL. So you get in your Nissan Altima and drive. Feel the VC turbo engine instantly react to give you more power and efficiency, so you can get where you need to go.
Hey, Eric. What are you doing here?
Like.
Huh?
Your social post. I liked it.
Oh, thank you. There's a button for that, right?
I do.
The Nissan Altima, now offering the most tech-advanced engine in its class. This is tech that helps you be there. This is Nissan Intelligent Mobility. Auto Pacific segmentation. 2020 Altima Platinum versus latest in-market competitors in the premium midsize class. Available feature. World's first production variable compression turbo engine launched by Nissan Motor Company Limited in 2018.
Hey, we understand. With everything that's happening, with all the new regulations, maybe you're not ready to come and hang out at Sweetgrass to catch a ball game. We want you to, we really do. And we're open for you to do just that. But we're also offering the next best thing, the new Sweetgrass Tailgate Party Packs. Whether it's wings, house-made dips, sliders, or other Sweetgrass tasty treats, all you have to do is call us or go to sweetgrassmemphis.com to order just what you're dreaming of when you're dreaming of watching sports and enjoying some sweet, sweet Sweetgrass.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your heating system cleaned? How about a safety inspection? Right now, Conway Services is offering our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system for only $69. That's right, for only $69, we'll come out and perform our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system. We'll also include a complete safety inspection using our state-of-the-art camera system, making sure your heating system is safe to operate this winter. Plus, we'll run a carbon monoxide test on your heating system, all for only $69. You can have the peace of mind knowing your heating system is safe and ready to operate on those cold winter nights. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. Call this week and ask for the early bird special, and we'll perform your super tune-up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, WPGFLP Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Hour 2 begins with Keith Smith from Yahoo Sports down in Orlando covering all things NBA, but also with this breaking news from Mike Florio. He has been quoted as saying a higher up with another team in the NFL that they guessed that general manager John Robinson and head coach Mike Vrabel, that they could be suspended for the rest of the year. The Titans also could lose a first-round pick and get a $10 million fine. Our friend Alan Bell from CBS Sports Online also reporting that the NFL, they have the goods on the Titans on a flagrant disregard of the rules after really being lectured on them and reminded of them on one of the days of one of the videos in question of them having basically team organized events. And the NFL, as Alan Bell says, that look, they once got Tom Brady for 4 games with absolutely zero evidence whatsoever. It was basically a whispering campaign by Bob Kravitz of the Indianapolis Star that led to all of it. It was the biggest bunch of nothing ever. And Ray Rice was on video and got 2 games, and now this during a pandemic does not sound very good for the Tennessee Titans. And their game's still scheduled to be played this week. It might be with 0 practice time. That'd be a punishment in and of itself. We go to Orlando to talk NBA with our friend Keith Smith. He has been with us through the bubble, and we look forward to next year, whenever next year begins, Keith Smith. And yesterday, Dave had a good point. We will never refer to next year as the 2020-2021 season. It will only be the 2021 season because they're going to get it all done in that one calendar year. Good afternoon, Keith.
Hey, good afternoon. Yeah, and I agree with that completely. And the one silver lining of that whole thing is it removes that whole confusing 2020-21 that you have to say. So at least we can just go with the 2021 season and move on.
Keith, let me tell you one that I'll always get in college football because I always refer to you don't have this with college basketball, but I will refer to the college football national champion like this year. Whomever wins it, Ohio State, they win it. I will call them the 2020 national champions, but then somebody will refer to the 2021 bowl season, and they kind of get it all confused. The NBA may be bringing us clarity that we need.
Yeah, that's it. I do the same thing with the NFL as well. I think of teams as being the champion of the season that was played versus necessarily when that game was played. So I'm right there with you.
It is quite confusing, Keith. I've never understood it, and especially like college football and the NFL, they'll put the next year on the field and on jerseys, and they'll have like this for college football. They'll have this year. They'll probably have 2021 college football playoffs, which just makes absolutely no sense. But with the NBA going forward, how long until you think they kind of get back to a normal time slot to where we do have a, say, 22-23 season? Or is this going to be the new normal, and can the NBA sustain in this new normal of time slots?
Yeah, I think to some extent this is going to be somewhat of a new normal. I don't think it's going to be, like this. I think the NBA, one of the things that they did with this restart was really try some things and learn the summertime may not be when we really want to play. Even in the midst of the pandemic, when most people are supposed to be staying home, TV ratings just aren't what they are in the summer for sports. It's, baseball kind of owns it because baseball is, I always refer to it, that is the perfect soundtrack to summer. It's your background noise. You throw a game on while you're doing everything else and hanging out at the pool or at the barbecue, and it's just kind of there. But basketball, you need to kind of commit to sit and watch and those kind of things. And I think the NBA realized we probably don't want to be in the business of playing too deep into the summer. So I think what you're going to see is whatever the 2021 season needs to be, that's what it'll need to be to get in a full season. Beyond that, I think you're going to see the NBA, along with the Players Association, really work together to find what is our ideal calendar. It's probably going to start a little bit later, and then it'll go a little bit later, but it's not going to carry deep into the summer like some of the proposals had it.
Do you think the October beginnings, that last October was it for that happening? I just mentioned last year the Memphis Grizzlies opening night was in Miami on October 23rd. I think that is something that will be a relic of the past. Do you?
Yeah, I think there's a good chance that we don't see that. If we do, it's going to take at least a couple years to get back to it, because next season it's going to start sometime in January or February, maybe even as late as March if there's good signs towards, hey, if we hold this thing till March, we can get, good full arenas and have lots of people in there and get back to normal on that front. So if that's where it goes, then that's what we'll see, and then that means clearly everything's going to get pushed back next season. But I think the NBA is not going to want to give up their kind of tent poles around the holidays. Those are such big days and big markers. So my guess is what you're going to see from the NBA going forward is they will probably look to start their season with everything pushed back by roughly a month, maybe month and a half, where the season will start, probably shortly after Thanksgiving, versus in that late October range, and then everything will play out from there. I don't know that they're going to go as far back as starting the year right around Christmas on a regular basis, because that feels a little too late. And I think they want to have a couple tune-ups before they get into those Christmas Day games, which they know that's their day on the calendar.
Bill, before we, fully get into the 2021 season, we do have to finish the 1920 season. Probably will be tomorrow in Game 5. And since all the bubble talk and everything has started with COVID-19, we've had asterisk talk. So I'm going to ask you kind of an asterisk question here. If the Lakers get it done tomorrow, or let's just say they win in Game 6, is this going to be looked at as dominant Lakers, 1-5 gentleman sweep, or could there be the injury asterisk that goes along with all the injuries that the Heat suffered in Game 1 of the finals?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think the Lakers were pretty, heavy favorites anyway. I think most expected them to win. I think we certainly expected a much closer series, even though the games have largely been pretty close. I think we thought Miami would take a couple more games off them, but that if you're going to do that, then you got to go back and say, well, is the Raptors title, does it deserve an asterisk because Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant were hurt? Does one of the Warriors titles because Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving were hurt? And how far back are we going to go on that? And, I don't like to relitigate those things. I like to believe winning a championship is hard. It is hard enough. You shouldn't be denigrated at all as a champion just because your opponent had injuries or they didn't show up or anything. You had to do what you had to do throughout the whole thing, and I don't believe there should be any kind of asterisk next to this if the Lakers win or if the Heat come back to pull off a miracle and win. Neither team should have anybody knocking them for that.
Keith Smith, our guest from Yahoo Sports. You can follow him on Twitter at Keith Smith NBA. And Keith, I am so with you. I'm no asterisks. I'm no qualifiers. I'm no excuses. To the victor go the spoils, however it gets sorted out. And it's one reason, and we don't talk a lot about this, really, about the only time is once every 4 years we play experts on the Olympics and on everything involved in the Olympics. But it's one thing I do love about track and field. No judges, nobody else. Fastest man wins. Fastest woman wins. Whoever throws the shot put the farthest, they win. I do love that finality, that certainty of track and field events.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I like anything where there's a real score and there's no kind of judging involved. Whenever there's judging involved, I immediately start to say, well, what's going on here? And I am, as much as I enjoy things like gymnastics and in the figure skating, when that comes around in the Winter Olympics, I don't understand enough of the difference between the little wobble that somebody made versus the person before them, knocking a whole point off a score or something. I don't know. All I know is they all do a bunch of things I can't do, and it entertains me.
About the only thing I do know is that on the platform diving that a belly buster is not good, like I would do it. But you're right. I don't want to be hanging on what the judge from Liechtenstein saw.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, I like things where there's a scoreboard or, like you said, fastest, furthest, strongest, well, whatever it may be. So those are the things that I, because then it's measurable. It was there. You went out and competed, and for those reasons, again, I look at it as, there's a lot of folks out there who are already starting with is this the most legitimate championship LeBron's ever won, and those kind of things. And I just don't think that that's a fair question to ask. I think we'll always remember this season as the, kind of like a lockout season, when it's, why did nobody play 82 games? And, what was going on? Oh, that was 2020, remember? And you'll talk about it, maybe 15, 20 years from now, and you'll have that memory jog you, but I don't think there's going to be anything that goes along with that and say, yeah, man, that Lakers team, they didn't deserve to win that thing.
Keith, kind of off that, and before I ask this question, I want to start it with, this is and will be the stupidest question you will be asked today, this week, and possibly this month. So this is a stupid question, and I understand. The Kyle Kuzma petition set up by some Lakers fan for him not to get his ring because he hasn't performed very well in the 2020 NBA Finals is now up to almost 13,500 signatures. Does it have any merit, and do those fans have any say? Like I said, stupidest question, but I needed to ask it.
Yeah, you put the right qualifier on that one. That has no merit. He was, part of the team, and, I know he hasn't had the best finals, but, he's had other good moments this season. He's had good moments in the restart and down in the bubble. So, that's one of those things where if you look back on it, you're going to hear, just like you do with every champion, about things that happened back in September and October. And it's something that happened some random Tuesday in January before we had any sense that this season was going to go the way it has, that kind of set things in motion and set things, moving forward in a different kind of way. And you'll hear Kyle Kuzma assigned to one of those. And I can tell you, coaches, front offices, they believe in that stuff just as much as they do what did you do in, 4 or 5 games in the finals. Those things matter too.
Keith, I don't know why so many people, but they do, and I guess because he's kind of the biggest and the baddest, and you can make a big bawdy name off of doing it. But a lot of people really like to go at LeBron, and some people get irritated when I say, look, I really like to watch LeBron play basketball. I don't agree with every utterance off the court, but I sure don't disagree with every one of them either. I think some are very noble, high-browed stands. But just on the basketball court, I really like to watch him play basketball, and that's not enough for some. There are some that constantly, maybe not an asterisk, but a question around every accomplishment of LeBron James. Why?
Yeah, I think there's this desire to defend an era that you grew up in. I grew up on the NBA of the 80s and 90s, and it's hard for me to believe that anybody can be better than Michael Jordan. I still struggle some with believing that anybody's better than Magic Johnson or Larry Bird, too. Those are, because those were my guys. Those are the guys that I grew up on. But
I was a Kareem guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, my dad grew up on the Bill Russell Celtics, and still to this day swears nobody was better at the game than Bill Russell was. And he's still watching today. So that's how he feels about it. But I look at LeBron James, and my kind of personal journey with him is interesting. He kind of came into the league just as I was getting out of school and becoming kind of grown up as an adult. So in a lot of ways, I feel like I grew up with him. And as I look at it, I feel like I've done a complete 360 now. I loved him when he first came out. I was like, this guy is incredible as a high school player right into the league. Then is he finished up his first tenure in Cleveland and went to Miami. I did a 180, and I was like, I'm done. I don't like a lot of the stuff he does. I don't like the way he acts. It's constant complaining and those kind of things. Then when he went back to Cleveland and was so dominant and dragged that team to that championship after, really pulling them into finals where they probably shouldn't have made it, it really started to become to me, he's right there with Michael Jordan. It's 1-1A for me with those two guys. And I don't understand this desire to, beat them up. I especially don't like it when it's let's beat up guys in the moment. Let's celebrate this. And then we're going to have months to talk about all the rest of it when there's nothing going on. So let's save that talk for that.
Keith, I'm with you. I'm more of optimistic. Let's enjoy the moment, live life as it comes, and not really always be negative and dwell on it. But like you said, there are those big...
That's terrible radio, Drew. We've got to have a big cat
Sorry,
fight every
you're,
day.
You're exactly right. I gotta hate you apparently. But for the Kobe defenders, the Jordan defenders, if there was one thing that LeBron has done over his career to truly make them hate him, what do you think the one thing is? Is it the whining? Is it the decision? Or is it something else?
Yeah, it's that he's never stayed in one place. That and by the time Michael Jordan left the Bulls and went to the Wizards, I think collectively we've all agreed that never really happened. That was one of those comic book alternate timeline things that's not real. So let's just kind of forget that that's a real thing. But Kobe stayed with the Lakers the whole time. Jordan, while he was a dominant player, was with the Bulls for the whole time. LeBron left. He left Cleveland to go win, and then he came back and he won again, and then it's seen now as and then he left for the Lakers. And there's as much as folks on some front appreciate dominance and excellence in those kind of historical franchises, they take just as much heat and just as much hate for that. So there's a lot of people, they're never going to forgive him for leaving Cleveland the first time. And that was more of a Cleveland thing. A lot of people were like, I get it. I don't know that he's ever going to win here. Then when he went back there, and then when he left for the Lakers, that became more of a NBA-wide thing of like, all right, this guy just wants to be, there. And I kind of look at it as he left the first time to win, and then he left the second time to live where he wants to live, where he wants to raise his family. And I'm not going to beat the guy up for that. But I think that's what it all comes back to, is the fact that he left twice, and nobody else that's in his realm of superstardom ever did anything like that.
Lakers a 7-point favorite tomorrow night in the bubble in Orlando. They lead the series 3-1. Who wins tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think the Lakers are going to close them out. I think, watching the press conferences today, I had flashbacks to those LeBron years where he almost goes into, robot destroyer mode, where it's, I'm not going to entertain any kind of silliness. I'm going to answer you very directly. We're going to get this over, and I'm going to go out. Now, I think you're seeing him really at this point. He's on a mission. He wants to close this thing out. I also think there's a sense of, we're done. We want to finish this season. We all want to get this done, win a championship, and get out of here and go home. And I think what you're going to see with the Lakers is if they can jump on Miami early and really get up, 20, 25 points, as much as I respect the Heat and the way they battle, I think that could be enough to finally break them and finish out this season.
Keith, we've enjoyed visiting with you today. We'll wrap it up next week one way or the other, because even if it's extended, it'll go through next Tuesday night. Tuesday would end it if Game 7 would be necessary. We'll visit next Thursday, and then we'll see when we talk again after that. We get the season going, get some free agency, get the draft going, and have a lot of fun with it. Thank you for your time today, and we really appreciate you during the bubble and all the time. Thank you, Keith.
I appreciate it, guys. You all stay safe, you and yours.
Thanks, Keith.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Keith Smith with us every Thursday through the bubble, through the NBA restart, way back when it got started back, and we were glad then to have Keith with us, and we're glad now. It was a lot of fun. Drew, we talk about the push and pull with Jordan fans and with LeBron fans. And I know it's an older group. Keith mentioned his dad with Bill Russell and those championships and what he accomplished in NBA Finals for Celtics teams. And I threw out Kareem. He until Zach Randolph, until I fell in love with Zebo with the Memphis Grizzlies, my all-time favorite NBA player was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. All-time leading scorer, fourth in rebounds, and never ever in any arguments for best player ever. And I don't get it. I'm there on Jordan. I guess I'm there on LeBron too. But Kareem never even into the discussion now, and he revolutionized the game with that hook, sky hook.
Oh, he definitely did. And, even Bill Russell gets thrown into those arguments with the 10 championships. And I think Kareem does get a little slighted on that discussion. But with the LeBron thing and with the Kobe fans and the Jordan defenders, it seems like, and I think Keith basically said it without saying it, that there's really no pleasing them. There's nothing, even let's say that let's say LeBron did stay in Cleveland. Well, and he only won the one championship. Well, they definitely couldn't be as good as Michael. He only won one. Well, yeah, I mean, Did you really expect him to win on teams where the second best player was Mo Williams? I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, he just didn't have the talent around him.
Those Bulls teams added pieces. They added Steve Kerr to make an outside shot. They added Dennis Rodman to get a rebound. Now, most of it was Michael Jordan and then Scottie Pippen. You know, they had Horace Grant, but they added pieces too. It's not like it was the same cast of characters through that whole stretch. They mixed and matched and would go out and find a guy to help them to win. Now, it wasn't like LeBron changing an entire team, but he is picked apart. He is by some vilified and by some very, very, very much loved. And I like watching him play, and I think they're going to win tomorrow night and win easily, and I don't think there should be any qualifiers around it. 360-8255 if you'd like to weigh in on that or any other subject. 67129 at our text line. First Bank phone line, First Bank text line. Every day, you know those numbers, and you also know, and if you don't, I'm going to tell you about the great people at First Bank. They know what you need, a reliable, trustworthy Memphis banker that can give you a direct answer, that make the decisions for you right here in Memphis. A direct answer from the First Bank banker you're dealing with. First Bank, with stories and a record of customers reaching high. Community banks are the preferred lender of people building a success story. Build yours with First Bank. At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play and enjoy. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage, they make the decisions right here at home for you. Visit firstbankonline.com. That's firstbankonline.com and build your success story with the great people at First Bank. 360-8255, our First Bank phone number, and 67129 at the First Bank text line. The NBA season that we didn't think would get started back, it could be ending tomorrow night, and then they will be off the scene. And except for on the weekends and Thursday with NFL, it will be baseball's time. And it'll be good to compare the baseball ratings then for all the people that are wanting to dig in on the ratings, Drew.
Yeah, and like I've said multiple times, I don't get the ratings argument. There's so much cord cutting now. And, I mean, realistically, maybe I haven't done enough research and I don't really fully grasp how they get the numbers, but there's no way
they matter.
They do matter. I mean, it matters when it comes to advertising, and for ESPN and ABC and or for baseball for TBS and Fox of how much they can charge for advertising. They do matter, but I don't think that they're always right. I mean, because maybe one TV is being watched by 2 people and another one's being watched by 15 or 20, and they're getting counted as the same number, and it doesn't make sense to me why it's such a big deal to average people. Now, if your job if you're selling advertisement for Fox or TBS, yeah, those numbers matter, but does it really matter to the individual fan that it was $5 million instead of $4.5 million?
Yeah, to a certain group, it does. It's a little bit like the political polls. A lot of people, they don't mean anything. I've never been polled. Well, they miss, I know, but it does matter. And the TV ratings and all ratings matter. Sales matter. We know that. We know what keeps you in business. It is sales. I promise you, it goes hand in glove. If you don't have sales, ratings, sales, chicken, egg, whichever one, you will not make it. You will not last. You have to have them. At the First Bank text line, speaking of a great advertiser and great friends of ours, First Bank text line 67129. If a Laker wins a championship and no one is watching, does anyone care? Well, first of all, it's not no one. Somebody's watching. It may not be the big number that would have watched in June, that may have watched, probably did watch in the Jordan years, but it's not anyone caring.
And just because you don't care doesn't mean that other people don't. I mean, anything that they're willing to put on TV, they know there's an audience for it. Somebody's watching. Believe it or not, even on ESPN3, somebody's probably watching the Campbell Camels play 4 games this year, which I've actually sat down and kind of skimmed through Campbell play this year, which is kind of weird because of everything that's going on, but somebody does care.
Is it a sufficient number, though, the next time those rights fees come around to pay what you did or more last time? That's the give and take on that. Another text at the First Bank text line, and haven't heard from him lately. I love this texter. So, what inning are we in with the COVID? Bottom of the 7th? We haven't addressed that lately. What inning are we in, Drew?
Bottom of the 6th, 2 outs.
I think we're in the bottom of the 7th.
Okay, I like your optimism.
I think we've had Harry Sing. Now, it could be a rain delay in there.
It could be. And apparently,
when will we be to completed game? Everything settled again in sports.
When we're at 100% capacity and we're not doing testing, that's when that's when strike 3 is called ball game. No testing, 100% capacity.
Strike 3, games in the scorebook. Next game, everything's fine. When will that be?
Hopefully, sometime in 2021, but. Could be 2022. Who knows?
I don't have any real assurances of 2021. I fear we could have another summer of will we or won't we on college football. In the worst case scenario, in kind of a middle to better case scenario, I definitely think next summer will be a debate of do we allow 30% or 50% or 60%. I don't think 2021 will be come one, come off. We got 101,221 seats. We're going to fill every one of them. I don't think we'll be back to that next year.
I don't think we will either. I ultimately would love for that to be the
Just
case.
my guess.
But you're exactly right. This isn't going to – we're not going to be able to snap our fingers and everything going away. It's still going to be a long process, but I think we've weathered a lot of the storm, and – you know, I also don't know if we've had the quote-unquote second wave yet.
Probably on the way. I know what else is on the way. We talk NFL and the Tigers. We do that next with Russell Copeland.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio. We are Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on, yes, that's the one, you have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
We've all heard of Casper. You know, the sleep company with outrageously comfortable products at not so outrageous prices. From award-winning mattresses to pillows, sheets, and duvets, Casper transforms the way we sleep one snooze at a time. Every Casper mattress is designed with a system to react and adapt to your body all night long. Inside, precisely 1,501 perforations create a cooling system so effective that you will not be awake to notice. Only Casper mattresses are made with 86 supportive gel pods to align your spine and eliminate aches and pains. Altogether, it's the cooling, supporting comfort that you need for the most refreshed feeling come morning time. From bedding, bed frames, and now even a dog bed, Casper has everything you need to build the bed of your dreams. And now with 0% APR financing, financing options, it is even easier to try a Casper mattress. Simply go to Casper.com, use the code ROAM, and get $100 off your mattress order. That's code ROAM, ROME, for $100 off your mattress order. Terms and conditions do apply. See Casper.com/terms.
Great news, sports fans. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse is now open for dine-in service. Make a reservation and enjoy a mouth-watering steak dinner. Or, if you prefer, take it curbside. In addition to their fantastic steaks, the Butcher Shop Steakhouse has a variety of entrees, including Canadian lobster tail, crab stuffed shrimp, pan-seared red snapper, and fresh ground steak burger with portobello mushroom sauce. Planning to cook out? The Butcher Shop Steakhouse offers a great selection of fresh Angus beef, hand-cut steaks and burgers, lamb chops, Atlantic salmon, and more. Make your reservation for dine-in or pre-order for curbside pickup. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse. Dine-in, curbside, and delivery. Plus, enjoy the sizzle of top-quality Butcher Shop steaks on your own grill. Call us at 757-4244 and visit our website, thebutchershop.com, for menus and more. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse, Walnut Grove and Germantown Parkway.
Family Leisure's done it again. We're talking about the world's biggest spa sale. Up to 30% off on spas and swim spas. Choose from hundreds of different spas from multiple manufacturers. There is special financing available, and if you are in the market, special pricing now as summer starts to dwindle on chemicals and accessories. Always professional delivery available. The spas are going crazy at Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
I did not get to listen any last Saturday, but I have heard overwhelming great compliments about
Phenomenal.
Russell Copeland. That's what I have heard far and wide, Drew, and not just because he's one of our favorites, and I knew he would nail it, but I've heard it from a lot of people, the great chemistry. I know what Dave has said on and off the air. It is hard to develop chemistry. It's usually over the long test of time, but I have heard how great Russell sounded last Saturday with Dave on the road broadcast. That's the way it's going to be the rest of this year. Jarvis at home, Russell on the road. We have Russell Copeland with us every Thursday afternoon. Russell, I'm sorry I didn't get to listen, but I hear great things. Did you feel comfortable? Everybody says you sounded it, and that's one of the biggest things is to get settled in and feel comfortable. How are you?
I'm doing well. Very excited to go on the road and to broadcast the game against SMU. And Dave has been doing it for a very long time. And for me, it was easy for me to be able to follow him. And we worked very well together. And it was a good complimentary broadcast. So I really enjoyed it.
Well, good, and you know when you center it, when you catch it, when you get all 108 stitches on that baseball, to mix metaphors, when you did. I know how good you sounded with Greg Gaston doing AAF games and in conversations with you. I thought you would, and it'll only get better and it'll get more fun. Now, why didn't you bring home a win?
Man, we tried, and just man, speaking about. The Tigers and I was fortunate enough to play 6 years in the National Football League and I played at a very high level for the Tigers in the late 80s, early 90s. And I understand it's about wins and losses and there are no more victories, but I applaud Ryan Silverfield, his coaching staff, his offensive coordinator, Kevin Johns, defensive coordinator, Mike McIntyre, and those young men for showing resiliency. They played with a lot of heart. They fought. They overcame adversity because they were on the verge of being blown out that first quarter and a half, and they scored 17 points in the second quarter, 14 points in the last 7 minutes of the second quarter. And when you look at the second half, they made their adjustments. There were only 6 points given up by the defense, 3 in the third quarter and 3 in the fourth quarter, which was ultimately the game-winning field goal for SMU. So for me, I say, just hit the pause button. Do not hit the panic button just yet, but it is a very important game for UCF in a couple of weeks and also for the Tigers. I really would say it's a must-win. for the Tigers. Neither one can be able to fall behind in the conference. The Tigers could be 0-2, and then UCF could be 1-2. So I'm looking forward to see how the Tigers bounce back and hopefully get healthy, COVID-free, and also get healthy in that secondary.
Russell, before we get on to the NFL, I do want to ask this of your opinion, and a lot of fans and a lot of us talking heads don't really like that there's a bye week this week, want to kind of continue to play, build up momentum, and Gabe, a former Tiger player and obviously producer here, he's kind of against that, saying that it's better to have the week off after an emotional loss like that and going into what is guaranteed to be an emotional game against Central Florida. Where do you kind of fall? Would you have preferred the Tigers continue the momentum and play this week, or do you like where the bye week fell?
I like where the bye week has fallen simply because of what the Tigers have been through as far as health-wise with COVID-19, not being able to practice, not having any continuity offensively, defensively, offensive line, throwing passes from Brady White to his receivers. The timing, I could tell the timing was off, and just getting better conditioning. If you look at it, it really was almost as if they were playing the first game over again. So this gives them a chance to get back healthy, to get in the film room and get some physicality on the field and be prepared offensively, defensively, as a coaching staff to feel comfortable going into, which is going to be a very big matchup in a couple of weeks.
Russell Copeland, our guest, talking Tigers and the NFL. So we switched to the NFL. And Russell, I don't think any of us were naive enough to think we were going to go through the entire NFL year and not have some hiccups, not hit some tough patches. It appears that this tough patch by the Titans may have been, probably was, self-inflicted, and now some really, really tough decisions having to be made by the NFL. Even the report out there from Mike Florio that the GM and the head coach could be suspended for the rest of the year for a blatant disregard of the admonition from the NFL about team practices and team workouts. What do you think will happen, and do you think the Titans were outlandishly in violation of spoken and unspoken rules?
The Titans absolutely violated rules that were put in place, and these protocols are put in place for a reason. And when you look at the Titans, they've had 23 total cases since September 24th, 3 in the last 2 days. And what took place was the Titans players gathered for a simulated practice last week against protocol, and it was strictly said that no team workouts outside of the facility. And when you look at that, this affects the whole entire league. It has a chance to shut the NFL down because you have to look at the scheduling. You have to look at teams with bye weeks. You have to look at teams that's being played. So when you look at the Patriots played on Monday night. They have a virus situation where they left Tuesday morning. They haven't been into facilities Wednesday. They haven't been into facilities Thursday because they had COVID, and they probably won't be there Friday. So you have to look at how that game is affected. And you look at the Titans, they've already postponed one game. So I think the fines need to be harsh. It needs to send a message. And even they need to, in my opinion, they need to go back to the drawing board, meaning that they may even have to try to get a bubble within the city, such as the NBA, but have a bubble such as training camp where you're at your practice facilities, you're doing the things you're doing, and try to bubble people, because every family are going through different times right now in the National Football League, and I just can't believe that the Titans did the things that they did.
Russell, if you're the Buffalo Bills right now, are you kind of asking the NFL for a possibility of a forfeiture? Because you really don't have a lot of wiggle room in your schedule. I know we're only up to week 5, but I mean, heck, they're already supposed to have a quick turnaround and play the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football next week. So if you're the Bills, is that something you would actually be wanting at this point?
Absolutely, because everyone is affected. Because from what I understand with the CBA, if the Bills do not play this game, if the game is put off, they do not get paid. And you just talked about they have to play on Thursday night. So I think one outcome would be they may have to play Saturday, because there's no way possible that they're going to play Sunday, then turn around and play next Thursday when they haven't even practiced as much. So So I think that all teams should levy against that type of punishment against the Titans, because you simply can't have that. I mean, we're living in COVID, guys, and one situation affects everyone, and this is affecting
really
the
does.
entire National Football League.
I mean, you've seen it in workplaces. We've seen it in our workplace, Drew. After this summer, after you were around someone that was positive, then we had to go in to you being on the DL for a few days and away from everyone. And when we talked about that, I'm not sharing any private information. We were very upfront and very transparent about it, and I think that's what we have to do. Russell, I know in any scandal, in any circumstance, in any untoward event, the worst thing you can do is start not telling the truth and trying to cover up. And I think the Titans were pretty bold and brazen in defying the rules, and then pretty brazen in maybe not telling the truth.
Because when you look at the situation, guys, is that now you're messing with other players and coaches' paychecks. That's what you have to be a look at. I mean, you have to look at a situation where if you're working in a workplace and someone that works in Ohio, but they're associated with your workplace, if they didn't take care of the protocols when you're taking care of the protocols where you are, but your check is affected because they didn't take care of protocols, you'll be kind of upset. And I think that's where the National Football League is. They put these protocols in for a reason. And then when you look at it, it seems that if everyone, for the most part, were obeying by those protocols, because we're going into the second month of the season, and the Titans are the only team that has this many COVID-19 positive tests. So I think the fine should be very heavy. It should send out a message to the Tennessee Titans.
And I don't think any of us have spoken in any kind of anti-Nashville or anti-Titans type sentiment. I think Drew will attest. This is basically the same thing I said about my most beloved team in all of sports, and that was the Cardinals. I'm saying about the very same thing because I thought it was really a bad look for the Cardinals to imperil the entire sport. All right, Russell, before we move on, do you think the Titans play on Sunday?
I do not. It's almost impossible. It's mentally and physically impossible.
Russell, moving on to this other big news from the earlier in the week. Obviously, Bill O'Brien being let go of the head coach and GM for the Texans. Do you see them having any shot with Romeo at the head of, obviously 0-4? They do have Jacksonville this week. Do you think that that kind of the kick in the butt they need to get the first win of the season?
Well, I mean, they have an opportunity to get the first win, but honestly, I think this season is lost for the Texans. And when I look at Bill O'Brien, some of the moves that he made as a general manager, and I already question the move for him to be the general manager. I don't see anything that he had done to put him in that place. But when you look at him under the general manager, when he trades DeAndre Hopkins and you have a chemistry and he's your go-to wide receiver, and the people that you brought in, Brandon Cooks and David Johnson, I mean, Kenny Stills, those players have not simply gotten it done. And when you have a quarterback that's $170 million, you want to have that continuity. They have a Clemson continuity. They played together. They've done very well. You want to keep that guy. And you look at the first-round picks that he's given up. You look at Jadeveon Clowney trade. I think that you should actually have cleaned house with everyone possible that's associated with Bill O'Brien, because this is a big situation. I think at the end of the season, you clean house and you come in very fresh, because what he has left is going to be very hard for the next coach to be able to come in and pick up the pieces. So I think it's a lost season for them, especially when you look at their division. You look at how well the Titans have been playing, if they can get back on track, and you look at the coach. The coach looked like a team that's going to do big in the playoffs. So I think it's a lost season for the Texans.
Russell, quickly give our listeners your analysis on one or two of your favorite games this weekend.
Well, we're going to start with tonight, the Bears versus the Bucks. And when you look at the Bucks, I think they came out and lost the first game against the Saints. And I said before, as the season keeps moving, as the train keeps going, they'll get better and better. But I think right now they're depleted on offense. O.J. Howard is gone for the season. Chris Godwin is not playing with a hamstring. LaShawn McCoy's out. Leonard Fournette's out. So they have a lot of injuries offensively. Mike Evans is questionable. So when I look at the Bears have Nick Foles starting. Last week, they went against the number one offense. Not to make any excuses, but it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get in the fold. I think this is the football game that the Bears can be able to compete, and I think Nick Foles gets in his form. He gets used to his wide receivers. Nagy calls a good game for him. I like the Bears.
Russell taking the Bears tonight, a matchup of two Super Bowl MVP quarterbacks. Tom Brady, we all know. Nick Foles, the other one. Another game you really like.
Well, just looking over, I like the Chargers versus the Saints. I think Monday night that's going to be a good game. When I look at the Chargers, I think Justin Herbert, the 6th overall pick in last year's draft, I think he's done very well, but he's still a rookie, and he has some offensive weapons that he's going to be missing. He's going to be missing Austin Eckler. I think he's done good, but he's going against the Saints. The Saints can be able to get after the passer real well. I think he will look like a rookie. I don't think he'll be making the passes that he's made thus far. The Saints will have a tougher time against the Chargers. I think it'll be a good competitive game, but overall, I'll take Drew Brees when it comes down to it, going against the rookie quarterback and Justin Herbert. Give me the Saints in a tough football game.
Monday night, the Saints, and that game now, they're saying that game will be at the Superdome, not moving it to Indianapolis, as was talked about earlier in the week. Russell, thank you for your time. Great stuff with you. Enjoy the games, college and pro alike, and we'll talk next Thursday afternoon to you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You got it. Russell Copeland talking NFL and the Tigers with us, and he's right about that big matchup next week against Central Florida. Drew, we got to pick that game tonight. The Buccaneers, a 3.5-point favorite at Soldier Field against the Bears with Nick Foles at quarterback. He engineered the big upset in the Super Bowl win in Minneapolis with the Eagles over Tom Brady and New England on a day that one defensive play was made all day, and that was at the end of the game. Your pick.
Well, Russell makes me a little bit more scared of this pick. I thought it was going to be pretty easy and pretty straight up. I'm still going to take Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I just think that they're playing better while they have the same record. The Bears just don't look as good of a 3-1 team as Tampa Bay has looked. So I think the Bucs get it done by at least a touchdown. So give me Tampa Bay.
I'm with you on that tonight. Russell had a good case for it. Gabe Kuhn, that will make picks tomorrow with us when we do our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast and pick all the games. He picks Tampa Bay as well. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. So this is the mega 4-person group lock of the year.
That's not
because
good.
Dave, after all that talk about the bet with TJ, he picks the Buccaneers tonight.
He really makes no sense. I mean, I get it. You can't mix fandom with business, but come on, Dave. We already know he's.
In fact, during the break, shoot him a text and make sure I wrote that down correctly that he picks the Buccaneers tonight. Okay,
I will.
That if he really picked the Buccaneers, because that's what I think it said today when he sent it to me, and that's what I have it down. But we will double check. I know this tonight. If you want to watch the game, a good place to do it would be outside at the Collierville Commissary, Houston, Levy, and Poplar. And you can always go to the original in Germantown, Memphis-style barbecue and ribs, delicious and authentic, slow Memphis-style. Begin that barbecue feast with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales, the barbecue nachos, the smoked chicken wings. All of that, any of those by themselves would make a meal in and of itself. Then dig into the ribs or the barbecue shoulder, get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich, a big sandwich, or you can get it on a plate. Comes with beans, slaw, deviled eggs, and bread as well. You can even order it by the pound or a 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybarbecue.com in Collierville and Germantown. The original in Germantown, the newest one now in Collierville at Houston Levy and Poplar. The great desserts like the lemon icebox pie, the terrific banana pudding, and time for you to start getting on the list for the holiday season, the 36-hour holiday bird. Tailgating this weekend, maybe not be as much as normal, but we'll be game watching at home. Started at the commissary, either at Collierville Commissary, at Houston Levy and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. And you can order online at commissarybarbecue.com. When we come back, we talk the baseball playoffs. The Braves advance. The Astros look like they could advance. They have a healthy 7-4 lead. We talk baseball next.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
I love the real estate business. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. I've been selling real estate a long time. What I love is having people ask me how some houses sell so quickly and others sit. That's an easy answer. Any agent can sit and tell you what you want to hear. I tell you what you need to know. I give you options and alternatives. I'm a firm believer in preparation, presentation, and proper pricing. We discuss that and my unique Shellbucks option. Beating your competition down the street or around the corner is the name of the game. So if you or someone you know is thinking of selling, talk to 2 to 3 real estate agents and make sure that I am one of them. Find out why my strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option can mean the difference in whether you sit or sell. You'll find out why people often say when you want the job done, call Shell Done. You can reach me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Shell Done Rosengarten. 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
Scott Graham here from Westwood One with a Thursday night football preview. It's NFC action to start Week 5 with a battle of 3-1 teams as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to Chicago to face the Bears. For Nick Foles in Chicago, Sunday's loss to the Colts was their first. And for Tom Brady in Tampa, a come-from-behind win over the Chargers was their third straight, a trend that Brady says shows their progress.
It's a long season, and we're 25% of the way through, so it's not early anymore. You know, we have a decent sample size. We got to figure out what we're good at, what we're not good at, and keep working to get better. And I know we have a lot of playmakers out there, but we got to continue to gain trust in one another and ultimately play, well for 60 minutes and see what it looks like if we can do that.
Kevin Harlan and Tony Baselli will have the call from Soldier Field when the Bears host the Bucs on Thursday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Napa know-how.
At Napa, we've teamed up with AAA to save you 20% online or in-store. That's why they call us the Savings Dream Team. Okay, we're the only ones calling us that. But it's true. Your AAA membership can save you 20% at Napa. So we're basically superheroes with the most specific power ever, saving you 20%. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
20% off regular retail prices with valid AAA membership card. Offer ends 10/31/20.
For the ones working tirelessly to keep their coworkers safe. For the ones rising to new challenges. For the ones rebuilding stronger than before. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, safety recovery guides, and 24/7 support. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
You know when you gotta be somewhere, it's like really urgent. You don't want to do it over the phone. Some things just can't be said with an LOL or an OMG. Some things just need to be done IRL. So you get in your Nissan Altima and drive. Feel the VC turbo engine instantly react to give you more power and efficiency, so you can get where you need to go.
Hey, Eric. What are you doing here?
Like.
Huh?
Your social post. I liked it.
Oh, thank you. There's a button for that, right?
I do.
The Nissan Altima, now offering the most tech-advanced engine in its class. This is tech that helps you be there. This is Nissan Intelligent Mobility. Auto Pacific segmentation. 2020 Altima Platinum versus latest in-market competitors in the premium midsize class. Available feature. World's first production variable compression turbo engine launched by Nissan Motor Company Limited in 2018.
Hey friends, all aboard to A&J Catfish Station's newest location in Millington at 7838 Church Street. A&J Catfish Station has delicious light battered farm-raised catfish and mouth-watering big fried shrimp. Try the popular blackened catfish or fresh fried filet and whole channel catfish. Then there's mouth-watering mac and cheese, homemade tartar sauce, great burgers and fries, and fresh vegetables. Got a sweet tooth? Enjoy A&J's Peach Cobbler, voted #1 in Memphis. A&J Catfish Station, now the new location in Millington at 7838 Church Street.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We welcome you back. The Braves, they made it look easy today. 7-zip. It wasn't that close. The whole series wasn't that close. They sweep. They win 3-zip. Advance to the NLCS, where they will play the winner of the Dodgers-Padres series. Dodgers lead 2-zip in that one. The Padres trying to stave off elimination tonight. 8:08 on MLB Network tonight for the Padres. Drew, the Braves made it look easy. That was easy pick. It was a group lock in that one. We don't give ourselves enough credit on group locks.
We really don't. I think we deserve at least a little bit of a round of applause for that one.
A little pat on the head. Way to go, little man.
Good job.
Something.
Yeah, good job, little man.
Something. Padres, I picked the Padres. Both you and Dave picked the Dodgers. I stayed with my preseason pick, the Padres. Look what it's going to get me. Nothing, because the Dodgers, they've been the best team in the bubble, and they probably would have been over the long haul of 162. And in the American League tonight, the Yankees, they can be eliminated tonight. Tampa Bay, they lead 2-1 in that one after winning last night, trying to knock out the Bronx Bombers. I like that young Tampa Bay Ray team. I just wish, could somebody in baseball enforce the rules and make Kevin Cash, their manager, a great manager that I like, be in a uniform, as the rules of baseball say that uniform personnel should be. If you're in the dugout area, be in a uniform, not a smock, not a warm-up top, not anything else. Look like a big leaguer, because you're in the big leagues. When we come back, the final hour on this Thursday afternoon, and we start it by talking Tigers with our very own Greg Gaston. That's next.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
You know when you gotta be somewhere, it's like really urgent. You don't want to do it over the phone. Some things just can't be said with an LOL or an OMG. Some things just need to be done IRL. So you get in your Nissan Altima and drive. Feel the VC turbo engine instantly react to give you more power and efficiency, so you can get where you need to go.
Hey, Eric. What are you doing here?
Like.
Huh?
Your social post. I liked it.
Oh, thank you. There's a button for that, right?
I do.
The Nissan Altima, now offering the most tech-advanced engine in its class. This is tech that helps you be there. This is Nissan Intelligent Mobility. Auto Pacific segmentation. 2020 Ultima Platinum versus latest in-market competitors in the premium midsize class. Available feature. World's first production variable compression turbo engine launched by Nissan Motor Company Limited in 2018.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your heating system cleaned? How about a safety inspection? Right now, Conway Services is offering our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system for only $69. That's right, for only $69, we'll come out and perform our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system. We'll also include a complete safety inspection using our state-of-the-art camera system, making sure your heating system is safe to operate this winter. Plus, we'll run a carbon monoxide test on your heating system, all for only $69. You can have the peace of mind knowing your heating system is safe and ready to operate on those cold winter nights. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. Call this week and ask for the early bird special, and we'll perform your super tune-up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, WPGFLP Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Waldo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
One baseball final already, one game being played, two more tonight, NFL game, a good college football game of the AAC variety, so plenty going on tonight. And this weekend, we've got it all. Got NBA, we've got college football, got the NFL, and we got the perfect app for you, the FanDuel app. Hey, Tennessee, sports betting is almost here, and FanDuel Sportsbook's giving you an exclusive offer to get started. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook, they're giving users $50 in free bets just for signing up. You heard that right. They're giving you $50 in free site credit to register and verify early, no deposit required. FanDuel, America's #1 sports betting site, for a reason. They've got odds on all the biggest sports and a simple, intuitive app that makes it easy to find the bet you're looking for and then lock it in. And unlike other sports books, once you win, FanDuel, they get you your cash in as little as 24 hours. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. But right now, the right thing for you to do is download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and check out their fantastic app for yourself. Just be sure to sign up and register using promo code CASH so they know we sent you. When you verify your account, you'll receive $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. That's promo code CASH to get $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789. Greg Gaston from Sports 56 Middays and the Tigers Sidelines will join us after I tell you about the title sponsor of this hour, and that's DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. Check out their website, DeSotoAutoSales.com, and all the happy referrals, and look at all the beautiful cars, all the cars test-driven, checked out, bumper to bumper, head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. And if it's not on the lot, they will go find it for you at DeSoto Auto Sales, where you will be treated like family, like a member of their family by their very kind, courteous staff. They know we're living in a world today that time really matters, and that's why they want you to have the ultimate car experience. You walk in within 45 minutes, test drive your car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're gone in your new car. From DeSoto Auto Sales on Goodman Road, online at DeSotoAutoSales.com, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience with the great people at DeSoto Auto Sales. From Sports 56 Middays with Eli Savoy every day on these airwaves from 10 to 1 and from the Tigers sidelines. This year, unfortunately, just for the home games. But last Saturday, I know locked in, watching and taking in all the game. Greg Gaston joins us now as he does every Thursday afternoon. He's brought to you by Southland Casino, Bartlett Small Engine, Stonebridge Golf, Westie's downtown in the Pinch District, Christ Community Church, and Mount Moriah Auto Sales. Greg, the Tigers experienced something they haven't in the regular season in a while, and that was a loss to the Ponies.
Yeah, it's been a while since they've lost to SMU. They've dominated that series. Heck, it seems like it's been a while that they've lost. Period. Obviously, they lost the Cotton Bowl, but losses were few and far between last year. The only loss, the controversial one on the road at Temple. So it's been a nice run, but that was unfortunate on Saturday last week because as poorly as the Tigers played early, as much as they got behind 24-3, and you can chalk that up to not having been able to practice, not having been able to hit, or just give credit to SMU. They looked pretty darn good with their passing game. The Tigers came back, took control, had momentum, had a chance to win. In the end, it's unfortunate they didn't get the best game from Brady White, and Ryan Silverfield said that to us today on midday, so I'm not trying to get people mad at me. This is from the horse's mouth. And that fumble obviously was the difference. Gives SMU credit. They go down the field, they kick the field goal, and in a tight game, the Tigers lose, and now they got to bounce back in a big way in a big game a week from Saturday against UCF.
Greg, I'm going to throw two questions at you here real quick. Not very long answer requiring, but is it good or bad do you feel it's good or bad to have the bye week between the emotional loss and what's probably going to be an emotional game against Central Florida? And also, is it good or bad for Memphis with Central Florida losing last week?
I think it's good that they have the time off because I know they're disappointed. They want to make sure that their heads are on straight. And look, I think these guys are a good bunch of guys that will be ready to go. So I think that's important that they had some time off, and now we'll get ready and get their game faces on next week. The second part of the question was the UCF loss. Wow, that's a tough one to answer. That's 2 years in a row that UCF has lost to Tulsa. Go figure. Give the Golden Hurricane credit. Mm-hmm. But they know how important. Look, it's an extremely important game for both the teams. The loser of that game is in a big hole to try to make the American Conference Championship game. So I don't think it in one way or another it factors in with UCF other than they know they have to win a game at Memphis. The Tigers know they have to win a game at home against UCF.
Greg, I understand fandom. Heck, at my core, that's what I mostly am. I make I don't try to hide it. I'm a fan. Mm-hmm. I root. I try to be fair on these and any other airwaves that I'm on. And I understand fans' aggravations. We want to win every game, but I do think. And you can see anything you want to see out there for good or bad on social media. But I do think sometimes the pinata that Brady White becomes is off-putting by a fan base. Not everyone, certainly not everyone. It's not. And I don't want to cast that big, wide, disparaging brush, but boy, some of them make a lot of noise in ripping at Brady.
They really do, and for some reason he became the poster boy to poke fun at, and then he showed them on the field, didn't he? Early on in his career, after he transferred, got that opportunity. They were quick to criticize. He can't throw the ball down the field. He can't lead this offense. There's no way they could do the things that they did when Riley was
little
here,
hands. Remember that?
Little hands, yes, absolutely, all that, and then he shut him up. So now you turn around and the guy decides to stay with this program for yet another year. He's put a lot of his life now into this university. He's obviously getting the degrees and he's having fun playing football, but that's a big-time commitment. He could have left. Instead, he stays. And yet the criticism is still there. And I'll give you an example. I mean, people I know very well who text me all the time during games, they were hitting me up and criticizing Brady early in the game after that first interception. Now, the first interception was not his fault. The receiver broke off his route. I don't blame Brady for that one. But later in the game, obviously, he had a bad interception on the throw down the seam to Dykes. He didn't see the linebacker drop back in coverage. And then the fumble was critical. It was a game changer. So, yeah, you could be upset. I understand that. But to criticize the guy overall for what he has done for this program is ludicrous.
And to go deep, I mean, it's not just, well, darn, we didn't win. It's got to be savage. Drew, I don't get that, and I know you hear it. See it again. It's not everyone. I already want to apologize that I may have too broad brushed that. It's a loud faction.
I don't even know if all of those people are Tigers fans, true Tigers fans, that are just kind of chiming in on the Brady White situation. But no, absolutely. I can guarantee you this, Brett. It's a lot less than it was a couple of years ago. It was a lot less than it was last year. But it's always, what have you done for me lately? And it was a rough game for Brady. Again, Ryan Silverfield earlier today on the show said it just wasn't one of the better games for number 3. But he had a tough game.
Now, Greg, that was Tiger fans at the AAC championship game booing him. That wasn't a bunch of recalcitrant volunteer Razorback, Ole Miss State fans that snuck into the Liberty Bowl at the AAC game. That was a particularly bad look.
That was ridiculous. But the point I was making was this year, new season, leads the team to the Cotton Bowl. Yeah, they lose the game to Penn State, I understand, but very competitive in that game. New season, they win their opener, and they're on the road. Now, obviously, the fans aren't there. There were a few that made the trek actually down to Dallas, but we're not talking about a home game. This is on social media. And when it's social media, I think you have a lot of people that are piping in that are not necessarily just Tiger fans. That was my point. But you're absolutely right. Back in the American Conference Championship game, I was almost embarrassed by it.
As a lifelong diehard proud alum, I don't know any other phrase that I can really use to truly express how much I love and care for the University of Memphis and for its athletic programs. One thing, Greg, I don't understand is, and I want to ask you this, is this a trend of criticizing good quarterbacks that we're going to see going forward? Do you think the next guy's going to get this? Because obviously Riley didn't get it, Bax didn't get
question.
it. I mean, heck, a guy like Tyler Bass, I mean, we all remember him, how terrible he was, never got any of this. Is Peter Parrish or the next guy after him going to be critiqued just as much as Brady has?
I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know if it's just performance on the field. When Brady started to answer questions when he first got here in the media, I could see some people go, he's kind of smug. He doesn't say much. I don't like that. I don't know if people are criticizing simply because they thought he was not even close to what the predecessors were at quarterback, or there was just something that irked him the wrong way. I have no idea what they'll do in the future, but I can tell you this. There are actually people, I'm sure, out there, it would be hard to find them, but I know there's probably one or two, that would criticize Patrick Mahomes, or they would criticize Aaron Rodgers. They're just those type of people, right? They're haters. And whether it's Brady White or whether it's Tom Brady, for goodness sakes, there's going to be those people. And the quarterback is the one that's out there. They're
every place has them.
Right. They're going to get a lot of the praise, and they're going to get a lot of the blame for when the team struggles.
Greg, I'm always a little bit reluctant to do this, but in my time as in 13 years as part of the Ole Miss crew, it's hard to say favorites. But I would have to say, if just really pushed to it, my favorite player has been Dexter McCluster. First of all, anybody basically my size, you got to love. and I love how hard he played. But my second favorite would be this one that really took a battering. And we know the image that got carved, and I thought it was ridiculous. Good Bo or bad Bo? I loved Bo Wallace. I love Bo Wallace now. I think he will be a giant in the coaching business before it's all done. And I told people that would kind of wanted to crack on him. It'll be a long time before there's an Ole Miss quarterback that runs out there for 39 straight starts. It'll be a long time before there's a quarterback that started and won the big games that Brady White's won. And Greg, I can even remember you were in these parts when it happened. Peyton Manning, freshman year at Tennessee, at halftime, leaving the field against Washington State, and I know a Tennessee fan will text immediately. It wasn't him individually. It was the team collectively in the effort. No. That day, he was booed going to the locker room. So it goes with playing that position.
It goes with playing the position. It goes, and it's almost to a certain extent. Now, I'm not condoning it, but early in the quarterback's career, and he's struggling, and you go, oh my gosh, what is this? But Brady White, I mean, after he's established himself, after leading a team to a Cotton Bowl, I guarantee you, like I said, on social media, it was pretty bad on Saturday. If it was a game that happened to be at home where there were fans there, I'm sure there would have been some people out there booing, especially the fumble at the end of the game, which prevented them from going down the field and maybe kicking a game-winning field goal or getting a game-winning touchdown instead of allowing SMU to do the same. There would have been people out there booing. It's a what have you done for me lately kind of thing with sports, in my opinion.
Greg, to get off of Brady here real quick halfway through the segment, I still can't figure out how I want to see Kylan Watkins used, or what's the best way for him to be used. And when I make these comparisons, these are just the first people that came to mind. Don't think that I'm actually thinking Kylan Watkins is as good. I mean, I hope he is, as the people I'm about to compare him to. Does he need to be used more as a wide receiver / running back like a Tony Pollard, or does he need to be a strict running back and be the Lightning Reggie Bush to Lindell White Thunder, and obviously Rodriguez Clark would be the Thunder in that point of view?
It's a great question, and your point's well taken. And excuse me if you can hear somebody cutting the lawn in the background. This guy is the loudest lawnmower I think in the world. I'm trying to get away from this here.
Hey, quiet down in the hallway with the lawnmower.
I'm moving upstairs. This is unbelievable. I cut my lawn at 5:30. But anyway,
that's all right, Greg.
The point is well taken, because Kylan Watkins, what they're hoping to have with Kylan Watkins is a Tony Pollard type, is an Antonio Gibson type that you can set up in the slot, that you can have him on jet sweeps, that you can have him coming out of the backfield running the ball or catching the ball. So there's no question they're the type of guys you can compare. He's not there yet, like you said, Drew, but they're trying to get him to where he becomes that type of player. And Rodriguez Clark, obviously, is the bruiser. He's the guy that's he doesn't have the breakaway speed, but he's not slow. And he's kind of a combination, I would say more like a Patrick Taylor, who's a guy who can get you some big yardage. So that's what they're hoping. They're hoping to have that kind of combination. Now, with Kylan Watkins, he had the one big run in the game against SMU. And some of the other runs, I thought he was kind of looking for those holes a little bit, and he was tiptoeing, and he wasn't going hard into the line. That was just my observation. But I think they're going to use him a lot more in the slot, like a Pollard, like a Gibson, and then hope that a guy like a Marquavius Weaver can back up Clark and give them some tough yards between the tackles, where those yards are always hard to come by.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the best possible position that you can put Kylan Watkins in. As far as the receiving core goes, obviously Sean Dykes has definitely been, I think, head and shoulders above everybody else at 3 TDs, 222 yards. But Calvin Austin bursting on the scenes against SMU, do you think he is the clear-cut number 2 as far as wideouts go behind Coxie, or do you think Taj Washington's going to slowly improve over the year?
Yeah, I think Washington's going to improve. I think that's a guy who has the potential to become a much better receiver. Coxie obviously is a stud, but I'll tell you, Austin, he is a little guy who's not afraid to stick his nose in there. He takes a hit, and he holds onto the ball. He gets open. He's got great speed. He really emerged, I thought, last year, but the game against SMU, we saw how valuable he can be. So you got Dykes, who's more or less a wide receiver / tight end, as opposed to just your tight end. I love Sean Dykes, but I think Austin had a breakout game. I think Washington's hoping to have one of those breakout games soon. And if that happens, you got 4 really, really reliable guys who can catch the football.
Greg, will you be excited to be back on a sideline next Saturday?
It'll be 7 weeks in between games for me.
Like riding a bicycle for an old pro like you, though. But I know you'll be glad to be back down there.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. And it's a big game. So obviously being on the sideline for a big game, more fans will be in the stands. Nothing like it would normally be for a UCF game, but at least there's going to be more fans in there. So, yeah, I'm absolutely looking forward to it.
Normal. What's that? Normally, I would be saying to you at this point, hey, Greg, with the Tigers open date, I hope I see you in Oxford Saturday. You probably
right.
can't, and if you did, I wouldn't see you because I don't have any access to the press box. I'm down in my area, and I would say kind of a nice quarantine area.
Boy, you're absolutely right. I would guarantee you that in a normal year, with the Tigers having to bye, I would be down in Oxford for Ole Miss at Alabama. You're absolutely right. I'd say hello to my friend Brett Norsworthy in the Grove, and then I'd go up to the press box and enjoy the game, and then listen to the coaches after the game. But I could possibly get. I probably could have got some kind of press pass, but I'd be up there, and it's just right now. It's just not worth it. It's not. I stay at home. I'll watch it on television. If I'm out in my car, I'll be listening to you guys and the Ole Miss Radio Network, which will have, of course, the games on our stations. But it is a different world, man, and it's a different world, not for the better.
It is, but we're going to plow through it, and we'll get into the wide open, clear running, and get back to normality or normalcy, as all the cool kids say one of these days. Greg, I know this. We will talk with you next Thursday afternoon as we're even closer to you getting back on that sideline. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Have a great broadcast on Saturday, Drew. Always great to catch up with you as well.
Thanks, Greg.
You got it. Greg Gaston with us every Thursday afternoon. He's brought to you in part by Bartlett Small Engine, Stonebridge Golf, Westie's downtown in the historic Pinch District, Christ Community Church, Mount Moriah Auto Sales, and Southland Casino. And Southland Casino, they're ready to welcome you back. Blackjack, craps, roulette, slots, all rolling, and the sportsbook betting has reopened. The most spacious casino floor in the Mid-South. They're ready to welcome you back with blackjack, roulette, craps, and all your favorite slots. And what are you waiting for? Go ahead and make the short drive to Southland. They are ready for you, and we will pick a lot of these games. You confirmed with Dave that he's going against his Bears tonight.
Yes, I have text proof that he is going with Tampa against his Bears because we know he's already turned on them.
Well, he can't lose. He's going to cash in the Mel's hot dogs one way. I mean, he's middled it out.
I don't know why you middle it out. Have some faith in your Bears, Dave. Double up.
He has no faith in him. He's tried to turn on them all year. First of all, he just won't say we were right about Mitch Mitchell.
No, he won't. He never will admit it. But we were right. We were 100% right about Mitch Mitchell.
And we will tell him about it forever, won't we?
Never let him forget it.
In the NFL this weekend, it will be interesting for sure to see what they do with the Titans. They got to make a decision. You can't run that up to late Saturday afternoon, can you? I mean, that's got to be coming forward soon. The decision made on the Ole Miss Alabama kick time. It has been moved from 5 o'clock to 6:30. I hope that helps. I don't know how much an hour and a half is going to help with a hurricane moving through. I know it decreased winds and rain, but it's still coming through. So it'll be at 6:30. We will be on the air at 4:30 with Ole Miss pregame on the Learfield IMG network and heard on these radio stations. But the Titans, the NFL, they need to come out with something quick, don't they?
No, I think Roger Goodell's got to come out with something by the end of the day. I don't think you can wait even till tomorrow because teams need to know what to do, and especially if the Titans can't even open their facilities right now. I mean, it seems like it'd be a no-brainer just to go ahead and say we can't do it. Or there's not enough wiggle room like there was with the last ones. You know, it just so happened that Baltimore and Pittsburgh had the bye week, so we were able to move it there, and it was just an easy, simple fix. I don't think there is that solution this week, so either the NFL's got to shut everything down or it's a forfeit, and I don't think that everybody will be on board with shutting it down because one team had an outbreak.
And the difference, I think, between this and the Cardinals, even though I was ready for some serious, heavy-handed, do something with the Cardinals and voiced that. I thought it was a really, really bad look for the Cardinals. I said it was one of the most embarrassing chapters in Cardinal history, their long and storied history. Well, the number of games. That's one thing in baseball compared to the NFL. You just can't keep kicking everything back unless you finally admit you're kicking back Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, and I think they can do that. I mean, realistically, what's going to stop
but
them?
do they want to?
Exactly. I mean, do you want to? Do you want to have that happen? But, I mean, if they have to push it back, I mean, is there anything that they're afraid of? I mean, let's say college basketball goes off without a hitch and they've got to play it in March. Is the NFL really that afraid of going against March Madness? No. I mean, they're the only. I think they're the only sport that they have time because their offseason is actually pretty long compared to other sports.
This has shown itself. You need to be scared of a lot of things that you probably used to not be scared of. And I'm not talking about just the virus itself, the unintended consequences of what we're doing to our sports calendar, what we're doing to the, as I mentioned in my not top story, all the tentativeness around sports, all the fragility with it. I just don't know that you can have that fan have the buy-in if he or she doesn't even know if it's going off or when.
Yeah, and that's why all of this has been kind of lukewarm with fandom, and especially, I mean, we've had to deal with it right here in Memphis. While I'm excited for UCF, I'm still not 100% bought in that it's going to happen. You know, who's to say that? I mean, technically, I don't think Central Florida has had an outbreak in their program yet. Who's to say that we don't walk in here on Monday afternoon, get ready for the show at 3 o'clock, and there's an outbreak at Central Florida? It's so hard to be 100% on board when there are so many variables that can and most likely will go wrong.
And I know that nobody likes to live with it, but it's just really hard to have the fun with it, with kind of this eggshell existence and, again, that fragility that goes with it. When we come back, we will talk something that I know will inspire a lot of controversy this year. It does in a good year. It sure will this year. The college football playoff and those 4 teams, you couldn't make me be on that committee this year. You about could make me be one of the nicest people ever, Bill Hancock, because he gets paid to accept all the slings and arrows of it. We talk the various scenarios, and we do that next.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together. So the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
I love the real estate business. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. I've been selling real estate a long time. What I love is having people ask me how some houses sell so quickly and others sit. That's an easy answer. Any agent can sit and tell you what you want to hear. I tell you what you need to know. I give you options and alternatives. I'm a firm believer in preparation, presentation, and proper pricing. We discuss that and my unique Shellbucks option. Beating your competition down the street or around the corner is the name of the game. So if you or someone you know is thinking of selling, talk to 2 to 3 real estate agents and make sure that I am one of them. Find out why my strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option can mean the difference in whether you sit or sell. You'll find out why people often say when you want the job done, call Shell Done. You can reach me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Shell Done Rosengarten. 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper. 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC. Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
First Bank phone line 360-8255. First Bank text line 67129. Joe, I promise you, we're coming to you after Drew has some breaking news.
Yeah, this getting the report from Bleacher Report, the Broncos and Patriots game has been moved from Sunday to early Monday night. So for the second straight week, we'll get a doubleheader Monday Night Football.
We will, but the TVs, they've had a plan for years just to have one on Monday night, but this is a year again. Schedules are in the most lightly shaded pencil of all time. 360-8255. Joe, I promised you, and I thank you for your patience. The floor is yours on college football and the Tigers. Good afternoon, Joe.
Sure. Hey, Brett. Yeah, thanks for taking my call. Just listening to Greg's conversation talking about Brady White. I mean, first of all, any criticism of Brady is undue. He's a college athlete. You work with Ole Miss. You remember how bad Bo Wallace got it. It was completely unjust and unfair. But to the point about the Tigers, I mean, Paxton, his freshman year, we got a future Tiger fan in the background if you can hear him.
That's fine.
Yeah. So Paxton's freshman year, there are a lot of people wanting to replace him with Jacob Karam because we had the momentum of the 3 wins before that at the end of the season, but, you know, he stuck with them. And that gets me to a broader point, just talking about the Tigers' next opponent, UCF, and who just defeated them, like you said, for 2 years in a row, Tulsa. That second year with Quinte, I think fans need a little more nuance, because even though their record got worse, they took UCF, who went on to win a BCS Bowl, to the absolute brink. Louisville, who went 12-1 with Teddy Bridgewater, gave them a game. So the record got worse. Yet the team was getting better, so I wasn't surprised when they won 10 games and took UCLA to the limit the next year, beat BYU in the Beach Bowl. And the coach I want to talk about specifically as far as great UCF was Tulsa. Philip Montgomery won 10 games, 3 years ago. In the last 3 years, he's had no more than 10 wins, I would say 11 tops, maybe 9, 10, or 11. But if you look at the schedule and just how competitive they've been, they almost beat the Tigers. In fact, should have beat the Tigers. A 29-yard field goal. They should have beaten us. And they've been competitive in several games, very close games against, bowl teams from the American Conference. And they've stuck with them. And I think this year, due to sticking with them, and he is a good coach, they're getting that reward as they went down to Stillwater and played a heck of a game, didn't quite get the win. And then they go into UCF again and win. They look like they're going to have a great season. So that just brings us to the broader point of being patient with your coach and looking at the nuance beyond wins and losses. Are you competitive? And credit to them for sticking with their guy, because that is not an easy decision.
Now, Joe, that is all way too level-headed for fandom, and I can even argue, Joe, that this is a good thing. Now, it's not for Brady and the person that's kind of being the subject to it. It wasn't for Bo, as you mentioned, and I mentioned as well. But it's a good thing when fans have raised these expectations so much higher than just kind of clawing out a 5 or 6 win season. This might even be a good thing.
All right. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, Joe. Really appreciate it. 360-8255. Drew, I'm sorry for Brady that he's going to kind of be the subject of it, but this is where this program's going. They want to keep going up and up and up and up.
I get your point. I think it is a kind of a good thing because there is passion back into this program. There is.
Don't become Philadelphia, though.
No, don't do that. There is passion. Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, don't take it too far. Don't overextend your expectations. Don't think you are something that you're not. Obviously, we as a program and as a fan base, we need to strive to be better and to support the team and to ultimately get better and move up these pedestals of college football. And I think that we've moved up a lot of them just in the last 5-6 years. And Joe's exactly right. Going back to Paxton, I mean, the free piano man. What was it? It was a real movement with Jacob Karam, and
it sure was. That's a good point.
Joe was right on everything. But the thing is, the level-headed people's voices, most of the times they're not as loud, and the criticism is the stuff that comes out.
Yeah, and the expectations have been raised so much, and that's a good thing. And then again, I don't want to ever get too preachified at fans for what they're spending, the time and trouble to go. Game day, while a lot of fun, that's not easy on everyone.
No, it's not. I mean, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot easier to sit there and watch that, however, big screen that it could be. And when we start to go back to full throttle fans, we want them to be able to come back and want to come back. All right, we mentioned the college football playoff and what I think building into their biggest controversy ever. What team will be in? What team will be left out? Did they play enough? I don't think anybody outside the SEC could really withstand a second loss. Do you think even in the SEC they could withstand a second loss?
Depends on if there are multiple one-loss teams. I think if, say, Alabama and Georgia both are there with one loss at the end of going into the SEC championship, then you can pretty much pencil both of those in there because
I don't think so, Drew. I don't think Bama would. I think they would get the least consideration with a second loss because of real or perceived, air quotes here, Bama privilege. I think people would want that pound of flesh and them left out. Let's have something new. And I hear those people.
But new isn't better, especially this year. I think the Big 12 is pretty much
different.
Is definitely out of it. Nobody is going to represent from the Big 12. There's not going to be a Pac-12 representative. I mean, maybe Oregon if they actually get in all 8 games and don't miss a single one, and they're world beaters. But I don't think they really get in. I don't see a second Big 10 team getting in, especially with the limited schedule that they're playing. And let's face it, they're probably going to have some COVID bumps and bruises along the road. Maybe I'm looking at the rankings right now. No,
Clemson wouldn't get a pass at 2, would they? They're not going to lose 2, but would they get a pass at 2?
No, they wouldn't. And right now, the real possibility of there being for sure 2, possibly even 3 SEC teams are out there because we don't know how the Big Ten is going to look. We don't know how the Pac-12 is going to look. We know what the Big 12 has done. They've already played their way out of it in 4 weeks. So the possibility of that scenario actually happening because we've gone off of it's the 4 best teams no matter what, correct? That's the criteria. It's not obviously winning your conference helps, but it's not everything. And if Florida, Georgia, and Alabama are 3 of the the top 4 teams, then they deserve to be there.
It will be a lot of criticism if there's 3 from the SEC. If there's even 2 this year, with this year being the challenge that it is, there will be a lot of criticism. I think Clemson would be in even with 1 loss. A lot of football, of course, to play. Some, as you mentioned, haven't even started, so naturally a lot of football there. For the non-Power 5, do you think there's a place, any scenario at the table?
I think there is. I think going off of your 2 losses scenario, there is. And right now, realistically,
undefeated?
Yeah, it's going to have to be undefeated. Right now, the only 2 teams that realistically have a shot at it are Cincinnati and SMU. I mean, possibly, I don't want to completely shut the door on Memphis getting there, because I think it is a big possibility that they do win out and reclaim the AAC championship. Obviously, they'd have to win out in order to do that, and I think that's a big possibility. So I don't want to fully close the door on them. It's a really zany, wacky year. Anything can happen. We could see a few 2-loss SEC teams. We could see 2-loss Ohio State, maybe a 2-loss Notre Dame. We're definitely going to see a 2-loss Miami. There's no way the U stays in the top 10 all season. And there's a possibility the Tigers could get in through the back door, but I'm not going to hold my breath on it. Right now, realistically, Cincinnati and SMU are the only group of 5 schools that I think realistically have a shot. And BYU, while they are 3-0, I don't think they really have a prayer, because I don't see the competition that they play that will match up and compete with the eye test of anybody in the American.
Next Friday night against Houston, on the road at Houston, and then when they play Boise State first weekend in November, that's the only 2 prospects of a wow win. Maybe San Diego State.
But how impressive is that? Because I think that's Boise State's first game, right?
I think it is. I think that's correct.
So is it really that impressive?
No. Boise opens October 24th. It would be their 3rd game.
Oh, okay.
So they would have Utah State and at Air Force. But how impressive. Would Florida really qualify as new blood?
Yeah, because they haven't been in the CFP technically. It's been a while.
And Dan Mullen, his first trip into it, yes, it's been but I don't know if really anything from even Georgia. Of course, Georgia's been in there. I don't think the SEC really provides anything new. Would Tennessee, if Tennessee really got on the magic roll, would that qualify as new blood?
It would. It honestly would. I mean, 98's was a long time ago. It was like 22 years ago, exactly. So.
And a whole different system. When we were talking with Barrett Jones yesterday about how much the game's changed and how much it's changed just since he was in the middle of that 2009 Alabama-Tennessee game, Lane Kiffin at Bryant-Denny Stadium that day almost pulled the shocking upset that would have derailed Nick Saban's first national championship team and his undefeated team at Alabama. Not just the style of play. Drew, you go back now to 2009, 2010, 2011, the shoulder pads, the uniforms are different.
Completely
now.
Different. Yeah, we didn't
Not
have
just
the
makeup,
completely tight, skin-tight stuff.
Yeah, I mean, guys out there now, very few people are wearing thigh pads, which I'd wear every pad they issued in the equipment room.
I kind of got I always wore every pad that they gave me, the thigh, the hips, the knee pads. I kind of got the knee pads when those
I
things
would wear
started.
eyelid pads if they would issue them.
When the knee pads started to go away, I was like, okay, like yeah, you might get a stinger there every now and then in the season, but the thigh pads, I don't understand that. You get hit in the thighs a lot in football.
And hip pads. I mean, to catch one just straight off, never mind
no,
a
sir.
hip pointer. You're signing up for hip replacement in about 25 years minimum. And I told a nice young guy, D.T. Shackford, he's the only 2-time recipient of the Chucky Mullins Award because of a lot of injury, and I think he was there about in total 6 years at Ole Miss and just had some devastating knee injuries. And I told him, I said, one good thing about it, DT, by the time you get old, it will be so revolutionary and so advanced in all these replacement surgeries, you're going to be like the Bionic Man. When we come back, we wrap up this Thursday afternoon. We do it with Taco Bell Crunch Time. That's up next on Sports Time.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays. What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
You know what's really scary? Seeing just how much you could have been saving on car insurance by switching to Geico. It's almost as scary as that homemade elf costume your mom made you wear in junior high school. No, Geico can't erase the memory of tripping down the hallway in oversized pointy shoes, but they can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Stop waking up at night in a cold sweat, wondering what happened to that green onesie. Just switch to Geico and save. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
I'm here with the outstanding team from Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. They're online at lexusofmemphis.com. Gary, tell everyone how they can experience the Lexus of Memphis satisfaction.
Come in and be a part of our family at Lexus of Memphis. Experience the customer service that we provide to each guest like a member of our own family. If you're on the side of the road and you need us, we're there. If you need help with anything with your car, technology, Bluetooth, the app suite, we have a dedicated team to help you with this in your journey with your Lexus.
That's how they do it at Lexus of Memphis.
Napa know-how.
At Napa, we've teamed up with AAA to save you 20% online or in-store. That's why they call us the Savings Dream Team. Okay, we're the only ones calling us that. But it's true. Your AAA membership can save you 20% at Napa. So we're basically superheroes with the most specific power ever, saving you 20%. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
20% off regular retail prices with valid AAA membership card. Offer ends 10/31/20.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Bears hosting the Buccaneers. You can hear all that action right here on the Flynn family of stations at 7 o'clock from Westwood One. It should be entertaining. Battle of Super Bowl MVPs. Tom Brady, multi-Super Bowl MVP winner. Nick Foles, he put on a show that day in Minneapolis. I was there for it, and it was quite an offensive performance for him that day and for the Eagles to upset the Patriots that day. Not a lick of defense played. The only defensive play made all day was by Derek Barnett from the Tennessee Vols late in that game to really seal it for the Eagles to win their first Super Bowl ever, and the party was on. And remember, their fans was eating the stuff in the street. Drew, do you remember that?
I do remember that.
And I'm glad I said
absolutely
stuff.
Crazy. Oh, those Philly
it wasn't
fans.
just stuff. Oh, those Philly fans for sure. Afternoon baseball, the Braves have advanced. The Astros are putting it on. The A's 11-4 in the my vision too bad to tell the inning. Bottom of the eighth, I think. Top of the eighth, one of the eighth.
Top of the eighth,
I don't
two
know
outs.
for sure. Drew, you're going to be out tomorrow. You've got a wedding you're attending and festivities. You'll be out tomorrow. Gabe will be with me co-hosting. Carl will be producing. I will be in Oxford. We'll have our regular Friday college football and pro football fiesta tomorrow. But now it's time to wrap up this day with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Boop, you.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
On one, on two, on three. Hey.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Tomorrow, of course, we'll have Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet at 4 o'clock. Tomorrow we'll have Drew DeArmond, ESPN Radio Huntsville, on the Alabama-Ole Miss game. Glenn Rogers talking high school football with us. Couldn't have Tim Doolin today, so he'll be with us tomorrow, and Andy Schiffman on the NBA, and we'll have our first National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast tomorrow. I learned today Randy Arozarena, breakout star of the baseball playoffs. They call him the Cuban Rocket. I saw him for 2 years at AutoZone Park in 2018 and 2019 when he was a member of the St. Louis Cardinals organization with the Memphis Redbirds. 25-year-old rookie standout for the Rays, quick bat, great speed. And in Mo, I no longer trust, because with him, with Voit, with Grichuk, with Piscotty, with maybe even Carson Kelly, there are a lot of Cardinal prospects, and I think they probably gave up on too quickly. Drew, what'd you learn today?
All right, I learned this, and it took me 40 minutes to do the math, and just like every good math teacher out there, they'd want me to show my work, so there's to the camera all of my math. Yes, it took me 40 minutes, and this is what I learned.
That's a beautiful mind math project there.
I appreciate it. I saw a tweet earlier this morning saying that the NFL home teams through 4 weeks this year are 31, 31, and 1. And while a lot of people would think that would be contributing to no fans, that it's more of a level playing field, no home field advantage, I decided that I would figure out, is that an actual bad thing? Well, it's actually higher from last week through week 4 when the home team was 27, 35, and 1. Since 2016, the home team through 4 weeks is 164, 146, and 4 of the NFL season, okay? And the average record for home teams through 4 weeks of the last 5 years is 32.8 wins, 29.2 losses, and 0.8 ties. So in conclusion, while it looks like no fans has actually affected home field advantage, in reality, it's basically 1 win off the average. And why do you need to know this? You don't, but I spent 40 minutes on it, and I have to tell somebody because it made my head hurt.
That's a Lee Corso quadruple, yo. That really is.
Because
I was sitting there this weekend. At one point, it was 9 wins for the visitors against 4 wins for the home team. And I'm thinking that's got to be because of this year. And you quite accurately and rightly refute that. Great stuff. Wow. Let me see that math again. Hold that up. I promise you, I didn't do that much math in college. I promise you.
I didn't either, and that's why I got a D. That's why I got a D. But it stood for degree, so I took it.
Could have done without. J.J. Watt sounds like he was very much involved in the ouster of Bill O'Brien in Houston. I can't blame him for that. Bill O'Brien had really done nothing. He'd been a poor GM, as Russell Copeland so well stated. But really, what has J.J. Watt won? He's been there the whole time, too. Great player, great humanitarian, great charitable, civic-minded guy. He's missed a lot of games because of injury. Quick, give me the biggest game J.J. Watt's ever won.
I can't think of one.
We only got 7 more minutes on there. You can't. He hadn't.
No, I don't think he really has. While he is, like you said, he is a great player. Done a lot.
He won enough to get a coach fired?
No, not really. I mean, I think he's definitely a top 10 defensive end in the league for sure. But
I think he's going to the Hall of Fame someday. But he hadn't won a big game.
He hasn't. So I don't know if they really should involve players in making that type of decision. If you as someone in the front office can't make that decision yourselves, and you really need the opinion of your employees to make changes in your own organization, then I don't know what you're doing there in the first place.
And especially one that can't point to the trophy case of having delivered. What is it you could have done without?
I could have done without the late respondents from the NFL. Obviously, we now have the movement of now 2 Monday night games with the Broncos and Patriots going off early Monday night, but still no word about the Titans game. I mean, it is Thursday, right? We are 3 days away from Sunday. Titans haven't
Thursday night, almost 6 o'clock.
Their facilities are still closed, and there's no word from Roger Goodell or the NFL whether this game will be postponed, moved, canceled, forfeited. Like, we kind of need to know. If the Titans aren't in their facilities today, they probably shouldn't be playing.
When we do the after-action report on COVID-19, the calendar year 2020, at so many levels, government, health, elected officials, doctors, everyone, sports, down to us. One of the big chapters is going to be just the full-on admission. We were winging it. We didn't have a clue what we were doing.
Of course we're winging it. We're just like y'all in college football back in the day with your silly ties and everything else. Y'all just were winging it. You were making it up as you went, and that's what we're doing now.
Now, are you talking silly tie games or when we all wore actual neckties to the silly tie games?
I'm going to say both.
I don't blame you. What are you keeping a close eye tonight, Andrew?
Going to keep a close eye on Thursday Night Football, obviously between the Bucks and Bears. Game 4 of the ALDS between Rays and Yankees. Game 3 NLDS, Dodgers and Padres. See if San Diego can avoid the sweep. And Houston there is still time for that game to be canceled. They only have 30 minutes, but hopefully they get their first game of the season. And like you said, I will be gone tomorrow due to wedding, so just want to give a great shout-out to Will and Hannah. Congratulations on your marriage. I also have a wedding on Saturday. Justin and Jamie, congratulations. I'll see y'all then, too.
Fun. Weddings are a lot of fun. I still love going to weddings. I do. I just don't go to quite as many as I used to. I'm going to keep a close eye on that Thursday night football game tonight. Also, Dave, for tomorrow, want to get this out early, he picks Tulane tonight as his college football shock, plus the 6.5 tonight when it's Willie Fritz going up against Dana Holgerson in the AAC. We'll be watching that one. Be fun to have 2 different games on, and the baseball for tonight's viewing pleasure. There's plenty out there. The Padres, they face elimination. The Yankees could be out. The Dodgers and the Rays, they can close it out. No surprise for, I think, either advancing to this point of the season. And I think at some point tonight we will see Mitch Mitchell and or Mitch Trubisky. Do you think he plays tonight?
No. I'm going to say no. I think Matt Nagy digs in his heels regardless if Nick Foles has a bad game and we don't have a Mitch Mitchell sighting.
If it's over anything other than injury, that's not a good thing for Dave's Bears. Drew, you have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday. I want to thank Bill Bender from the Sporting News, Keith Smith from Yahoo Sports, Russell Copeland from the Tigers Radio Network and NFL analyst with us, Greg Gaston from the Tigers Sideline, and from Sports 56 Middays with Eli Savoy. We appreciate one and all. We appreciate you listening. For Dave, for Drew, I'm Brett. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Talk to you then.